don't y'all come up here for this? And you take pictures.
And I mean, we'll have them, but I mean, we'll have it in the video that goes up. But we're going to take pictures. I'm going to take pictures. And look, who knows? State of the city. You want to put farther miles in there? I'm going to have the picture. Want me to send something to Dawn? What do you think?
How's the meeting going to be? I think Brandon will go outside. So we're working. That's what he's working on.
What's going on, Councilman Brenner?
Tom, Greg, y'all ready? Greg. I mean, I guess he's not on the schedule. Huh? No, I know, but since
May I have everyone's attention? Mayor Zahn would like to start before the meeting to give a proclamation, at least one proclamation, it may be two, but for sure one for a very distinguished gentleman. We look forward to it.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask the council to step up for this one like we do with all the others, but I'm sure y'all want to say some words. We have with us tonight Father Richard Miles, who is ending his tenure at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church after 30 years of service. So I was not able to make your last Mass. I do apologize for that, but I thought we'd at least do this for you because we want to show you the appreciation from the City of Kenner administration, our council, our chief of police, our fire chief, and all the people who work in the City of Kenner, and all the Kenner residents. I know you can't step up here, so we're going to come to you, but let me just read this from here. Whereas Father Miles was a Lutheran pastor before converting to the Catholic faith, in 1991, Father Miles came to faithfully serve the parishioners of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. He said his primary goal was the spiritual renewal of the parish. Whereas the Perpetual Adoration Chapel was opened by Father Miles in 1994, he led the pilgrimage to Italy in 2005 to the Shrine of the Saint and established in her honor a monthly Mass and novena at Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Whereas Father Miles has supported the Catholic Daughters Ministry to the Poor, Holy Name Society, the Knights of Columbus, along with numerous other prayer groups. The 150th anniversary of Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church was celebrated in 2019. Whereas Father Miles is retiring with family in Michigan. We wish him all the best in his retirement. Now, therefore, I, Ben Zahn, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the City of Kenner, our Kenner City Council, our Chief of Police, do hereby proclaim today, June 3rd, as Father Richard Miles Day in recognition of his devotion to his faith, the Kenner parishioners, Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church, and for the past 30 years of service. This is an honor to give this to you, Father Miles. The proclamation right here that I just read as a proclamation. Thank you very much. And we want to make sure that you always come back to the city of Kenner. Oh, wow. And you have a key to our city. Thank you. You want this pen give to you?
Once you can get more relaxed clothes, you'll be able to put that on your clothes to represent City of Kenner.
And I know the district councilman wants to start off with saying a few words to you, and if you could say a few words, we'd love to hear from you. Councilman Carroll, this is your church. Hey, please say this is my councilman.
That's exactly right. Thanks a lot, Mayor Zahn. What can I say? The opportunity that I get sometimes to be able to participate in these proclamations are great to do no matter who it is. But to be able to participate for someone like Father Miles, who has been part of my family, he was the priest at the school that both of my children went to. He was the priest for their christening. He was the priest for their first communion. He was the priest for their confirmation. And he has been my pastor in my entire life, not my entire life, but for the past 30 years at Our Lady of Perpetual Help School in the parish. That is special to me. Not only to myself, but everybody within the parish, even outside of the parish, respects Father Miles, understands that he is a man truly of God and willing to give support to everyone, anyone that needed it. You didn't have to be of the parish. A lot of people were there who came to the parish. So Father Miles, I hope and pray you have a hat on and a big coat going to Michigan, because you're going to need it compared to the weather you've been used to for the past 30 years. But it doesn't matter. I'm sure you will do what you have to do to survive. And always remember, you are a South Kenner boy, man, for the rest of your life right now. Thank you, Father.
Well, Father, I don't want to give my age away, but I went to first grade and second grade at Lady Petra Help. It was maybe not when it was first started, but not too far behind. So I have a lot in common with the parish, the church, and then later when St. Lawrence opened up, we had to shift over there because we were closer to it. But I would still come back and forth and visit your church during your time also. And your help with us in the city, as well as myself, the Italian Heritage Festival that we had there, the St. Rosalie, all of the things that you help foster and continue are just something that will be in our city's minds and hearts for a long time. So even though you may be leaving, as Greg said, going to that cold state up north, we'll think about you when we're still sweating down here. That's right, God's icebox. So thank you for your time and service with us, and it was very well appreciated, and we will surely be missed.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
I want you to all do good work.
Thank you. Father Miles, you're an icon in the city of Kenner. Whenever you set out to do something, you always want to leave it much better than when you started, and there's no doubt you accomplished that. We appreciate you being in our city and doing what you did and touching all the lives that you've touched. Amazing, amazing 30 years. Amazing. Now, I don't know how you're going to go live in that cold weather. You might get tired of it, and you're always welcome back to our city.
Would you tell my priest that?
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Father Miles, it's all been well said and well documented, and we're certainly thankful and lucky and blessed to have had someone as good as you in our city and doing what you do for the Catholic faith. So stay safe, stay well, come see us anytime, and thank you again for your service. Thank you. Yes, sir.
thank you, Father Miles. It's really been a blessing to have you. I've been a parishioner of Our Lady of Perpetual Help now for about 15 years, and my wife and I and my daughter, you just connect. You really do. So you've been a blessing. Thank you, and we wish you well in your retirement. Thank you, Father Miles.
I just want to say thank you very much for all of your years in cherished service. Enjoy your time, enjoy your retirement, and thank you for everything that you've done for the community.
Very much appreciate it. And please remember all these beautiful lives that remember. I'm only a sinner, saved by grace. Did you get that? We got to remember, all of us are sinners in need of God's mercy and forgiveness. And he gives it if we ask for it. Are we going on, or is this finished? Oh, God love us. Okay, here's a joke. With a serious note. This man dies, he goes to heaven, and there is St. Peter to welcome him, and also St. Michael at the computer. And the gentleman who died says, "What do I have to do to get to heaven?" And he asks him, "Do you believe in Jesus, your Savior?" "Oh, yeah, sure. Well, what concrete good things have you tried to do in your life?" And he looked and he thought for a moment and he said, "Well, there was once I gave a dollar to an extra dollar to a poor man on the street." "Okay, Mike, put that in the computer." Michael puts it in the computer. "Is there anything else you can say? This points that I'm a Christian." He said, "Yes, I gave a dollar also to a lady who looked like she was in distress." "Okay. Can you think of anything else?" The gentleman thought for a second. "No, I think that's it." So Peter looks over at Mike, the archangel, and says, "Well, Mike, what do you say? Give the bum back his $2 and tell him to go up."
So we're going to get started for the regular scheduled meeting in about 3 minutes, everyone. So 3 minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. We are now ready to start the City of Kenner June 3rd council meeting. And thank everyone for attending. I think that this is an opportunity that we all love to be able to be in person to share the information about the city so we can literally see and hear and smell and talk about the things we need to do as opposed to being on Zoom. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of the Zoom. I guess I get that from Mr. Morella. I don't know, but it's good to be here. Before we get started, always with the prayer, and Pastor Windsor of the International Church will lead the prayer in Spanish, and I am honored to have my priest and father, Father Miles, will follow in English with the prayer. So, Pastor Windsor, you first, sir.
Muchísimas gracias por esta invitación. Thank you for this special invitation. Let's pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we give you thanks. Padre, te doy gracias por esta oportunidad de estar reunidos entre hombres y mujeres que han tomado decisión acerca de la ciudad de Kenner. Dios eterno, te pido que tú les des la sabiduría, el entendimiento, que tú los enseñes, Señor, que tú los guíes para que hagan las cosas correctamente. Te damos gracias, que tus ángeles tomen control en este lugar y en nuestras mentes. En el nombre de Jesús. Amén, amén, amén.
Lord, may all of those who have been elected to offices for Kenner, may they always look to you for guidance and direction, particularly, Lord, these very troubled times we live in, when things seem to be upside down. Help us all to know and to realize we are a nation under God, and to look to you for that guidance and direction, for unity and peace in our country, among all of our people. Father, we ask all of this in the name of Jesus the Lord. Amen. God bless you all.
Councilwoman McKinney, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, you have the floor. About any special attention, but we'll do that.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor tonight? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of May 21st, 2021. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2235-31, Rejoice Incorporated, to hold a public gathering on June 19, 2021 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the purpose of a community festival at Heritage Park in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 2237-21, Rejoice Incorporated, to hold a public gathering on June 19, 2021 from 5:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the purpose of a 5K run walk at Heritage Park in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the mayor, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn.
Mayor Zahn, you have the floor, sir.
Council Chairman, this could be a very lengthy mayor's comments because I'm going to talk about code real quick, but then we have 3 presentations.
Yes, sir.
We have Mr. Nick Impostata, I believe, is in the audience. He's going to speak about our health insurance. And then we're going to have Mr. Manish come up and talk about 2 drainage projects. I'll get to that in a minute. Let me talk about what we've been doing with the help of your office, actually, 100 to 200 blocks of Auburn Place and Baylor Place, 18 warning violations, and 10 warnings. the 3200 block, the 3400 block of Arkansas Avenue in California. And I believe that is an area where Councilman Hayes and Segura joined up in that area, and I reached out to both offices with this. Total of 8 warnings and 8 violations. So we do see some things working in some of the areas. We continue to do that with code. Code is up and running. There's been no interruption with code. We're just revising some things in code, and I appreciate all the work of the men and ladies of the Kenner Code Department. I did say that we had 2 presentations, 2 speakers, but it'll be 3 presentations. The first one is Nick in the audience? Mr. Impostata? If he's not, we'll jump to Mr. Manish.
I saw him earlier.
Y'all have the advantage, I don't.
Yeah.
Mr. Nick Impostata is going to step up, our health insurance agent. I want to credit him with working with my administration, working also with each and every one of you all. It's on the agenda tonight. Look, he does a great job, what he does for the city of Kenner, for our employees, obviously for us too, but for our employees first, for their health insurance. So let him give his presentation. Let's all credit him with the work that he does, and he continues to do, and he's been doing it for quite a while. So, Nick, from me, my administration, along with the council and the chief, we appreciate your hard work.
Mr. Impastato, please give your name and address, sir.
Nick Impastato, soon to be 43, Sycus, Kenner, temporarily Lafitte, Louisiana, while a house is being built.
Thank you, sir.
What I'm asking the council to do is to grant the renewal that we're putting forth. It took us a little bit, quite a bit of work this year, but we were able to renew our insurance for the city with no escalation. We're also able to do this with minimal, I call it investigation, where we're working with the employees. We've been able to do this because 3 years ago, we implemented a plan for the city that was, at the time, uncomfortable, because what we had done prior to that time is worked on how do we get the premium that we want. And what Blue Cross did is they sat with us, and I had George Brannigan with me for this meeting, and they said the problem is we keep working on taking away benefits to lower the premium instead of attacking what the primary problem is, and that is what it's costing. So what had happened prior to this time is for every dollar that the insurance companies were receiving in premium, they were spending $1.90, $1.79 in actual benefits, so it was unprofitable. So what would happen, we'd get these large escalations in premium. So by implementing a program to where we were limited, somewhat limited, and it has expanded into the selection of physicians that are contracted specifically, we were able to control what the costs were being paid. By doing so, we were able to lower the premium substantially, and we've also been able to address things that were unaddressed prior to. We have found many of the employees that had particular illnesses that they weren't aware of that were diagnosed, and we were able to prevent future illnesses for them. So the whole thing in a nutshell is we're able to maintain the same insurance. It's a good plan that we've had for the last 2 years running at no escalation for this year.
Thank you.
That's my story.
Thank you, Mr. Impastato. There was something I failed to mention in the beginning of the meeting. Because we are here at the pavilion, which is great for all of us, it is a challenge for me to be able to see to my left or to my right there you go, who goes up first or second. So with the assist from the clerks, they will recognize everyone in their position to speak, and they will speak, let that person, address that person, so we go in order, so it doesn't look like I'm overlooking anybody like that. It's, without the lights in front of me, I'm a little bit challenged, but they're going to help me out. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Brannigan.
Nick, I just want to thank you for including me in the negotiations with Blue Cross. You did a phenomenal job setting this plan in motion, and the city of Kenner has reaped the benefits from it. And it was a lot less bumps in the road than I ever thought when we looked at the plans that we put in. But you did a great job, and I just want to thank you for doing that for us.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions?
Anybody? Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Impastato, I would like to, considering all what we have gone through for the past year with the pandemic, with underlying conditions for people, I think we as the citizens of Kenner in the United States are now appreciative of the ability to have medical insurance. It's an opportunity for us to understand what we have and to ensure that what we have we use to be able to ensure our health for us and our loved ones. So for the employees, it's always a dollar involved, the cost. So for us to be able to control the cost and to be able to ensure that the services never go down or are depleted, that is the advantage that we have received, in my opinion, from your tenure here for this. And hopefully we can continue to have those advantages, sir. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Don?
Ms. Foshee.
Thank you. What I'd like to say really is that Mr. Nick is not an insurance guy. He's a magician. I have had the pleasure of working with many insurer representatives in many different environments, and I've never had one who serves as a partner. And Nick has this devilish side to him. Will you let me try this argument? Like I could stop him. He has done more for our employees who call Nick. They don't call the insurance company, they call Nick, and they say, I can't get this medicine, or they've told me I can't have my physician. There are things you don't have to do. He could pawn them off or say, I'm sorry, I'm done, and instead he goes out of his way to personally take care of every single one of our employees. So I don't know if there's many more left out there like him, so you just got to stick around for another 20, 30 years with us, all right? I'm proud to work with you.
Well, my son says I have 15 years left.
Thank you, Ms. Foshee. I do not see any more hands. So, Mayor Zahn, would you like to introduce the next speaker?
So we have two important projects, but let me give some credit first because I'm going to speak and we're going to let Manish come up, and of course, Councilman Carroll has some comments and Councilman Brannigan, I'm sure the two at-larges. I want to give credit for these two projects in two different entities. When we talk about the South, we talk about Lincoln Manor Drainage Project. Without Councilman Joe Stagney, I'm sorry, I always do that, without State Representative Joe Stagney and without former State Representative Tom Wilmot and Councilman Tom Wilmot working with Councilman Greg Carroll, this would not be discussed tonight. So we're going to discuss Lincoln Manor and the drainage project that's been ongoing since the Tom Wilmot State Representative days. So Tom, from me, the administration, thank you for your hard work then. Joe, you're out there. I know we're going to revisit this with Joe when he has time to come, but Joe, thank you for carrying up where Tom left off, and Greg, thank you for your continued work on it too. But most of all, thank to the people of Lincoln Manor that they have been so patient, that they've been so patient working through this and making sure that this becomes a reality. So Manish will talk about that. Let me talk about another impostata, and also another state rep, Wood Lake drainage. Without the help of Debbie Villio on the state level, and she's going to come back and also talk about this along with Councilman Impostata from the parish / former District 5 Councilman, now District 5 Councilman Brian Brennan, this would not be happening. So Brian, along with the at-larges, along with Dominic, along with Debbie, thank you for all working together to make this possible. Trying to get everybody's schedule together is just complicated. So we will have them come back hopefully to the next meeting to give a little input about how they got it done. But I don't want the people of Wood Lake or Lincoln Manor, north, south, to wait any longer to hear what's going on. I was at the Lincoln Manor Civic Association not too long ago, I think this past week or last week, whatever it was. We talked about it there, and they are very, very excited. I saw the Civic Association president in the audience. Ms. D was walking in. I don't know if Ms. D stayed, but I hope she did. She's already heard this. And thank you to Manish for being here tonight to do this project. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. my comments are over with after Mr. Manish is finished. So thank you, Greg, for allowing Lincoln Manor and Woodlake to be on the agenda tonight at the same time.
Thank you, Mayor. And if I can get your support on, because State Representative Stagney is not here, to be able to, along with the director for the Lincoln Manor subdivision, to do another presentation at the gym or either the MLK, I would like your support on that.
That's probably where I would like to do the two other presentations. Go back to Lincoln Manor, go back to Woodlake with those other elected officials and get that going there. So it'll be look, we have a lengthy night. To bring everybody in tonight is a little bit too much. But going out to the districts in the future, District 1 and District 5, either outside or inside, we'll see what we're going to do. That's something we should do over the course of the summer. We have some time. Let's just tell people it's coming, but let's get those other elected officials to come from 1 to 5, District 1 to District 5, to come out and talk about that in the near future.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We look forward to that.
It'll be good.
Mr. Manish, name and address, and please introduce your partner before you start the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Council Chairman Carroll, Mayor. I've been living in this city for the last 28 years, and professionally I'm working in drainage. I'm involved with many large-scale drainage projects in City of Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish, Corps of Engineers. But I have a vested interest in the city. This is where my two kids were born and raised, and I've been living in South Lake for the last 18 years. So 2018 administration decided that, look, we have to prepare a priority list of all the projects. So anytime any funding is available, we are ready to utilize that information and essentially make it shovel-ready project. And this project is a classic example of how well the administration, council person Joe Stagney worked together, and is currently on the bid. 6 months ago, we started this project. It's going to significantly help Lincoln Manor subdivision. We're changing or replacing or increasing size about 2,400 linear feet of pipe. We're putting more drainage structures. We are replacing the entire roadways. 128 days is going to be done. So from start to finish, 1 year this project is done. So thank you all, but most importantly, thank you administration, Councilman Carroll, Mayor Zahn. The second project is a very, very important project. As I see it, Woodlake, Seton Park, Grand Lakes, kind of confluence of Canal 7 and 17. It's a lot of drainage flow that goes to Dungan Canal or Parish Land Pump Station. So working with Councilman Impastado, we're looking at putting 125 CFS pump station and taking a rainwater during the heavy storm out of the system, so all the subdivisions, their pipe has enough capacity. So once you take 125 CFS out of the system, it helps the neighborhood upstream and downstream. Councilman Impastado, Mayor Zahn, working very closely with the State Senate, and hopefully it become realization. So any of you guys have any detailed questions, technical question, I have my Chief Engineer, Jim Wilson, with me, more than happy to answer, but I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. And obviously, as the mayor said, that this is a project that has been in the works for the past 12 years. Obviously, my friend, Councilman Wilmot, was part of this early on, and the number of challenges that one gets with the change of administration, with the change of governors, with the change of legislators, is always added to the difficulty of doing that. You are a part of this perfect storm right now to put it in place. Obviously, when the constituents call about their water, they don't want to hear any of that. They want to know, what are we going to do to alleviate some of the standing water that they have to deal with? So hopefully now, not hopefully, this will definitely address the issues, and even more so, there are other things that we are working on presently to be able to address the drainage situation from the Mississippi River to Lake Pontchartrain throughout the city of Kenner. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I believe Councilman Wilmot has a few words.
I just wanted to add, civic associations have a very valuable tool in the city. Lincoln Manor Civic Association is very vocal. When I was a state representative, we had that group. They actually brought to light the problems, and they were very vocal about it. And we had a fellow who was there, and it's a shame he's not with us today, but he passed away. He was the president at that time. And of course, the vice president at that time is here tonight, and she is now the president of the Lincoln Manor Civic Association. And she was mentioned earlier by the mayor, Dolores Windsor. Wonderful. My hat's off to you, dear. Y'all really made it something that brought to light, so it needed to be addressed. And it's happening. So thank you very much for that initial push. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Are there any more comments, questions? Mayor Zahn.
If the council has no other questions, I did forget one thing, and my Deputy CEO, Chad Pitfield, and my CEO, Deborah Foshee, just reminded me, there is a brand new bucket truck outside, and that's very, very important. I want to thank all the crews that are involved in that. Kenny Melvin's out there with. If you didn't see it, it's not out there because we have a problem. It's out there to show you all and also show the constituents, the residents of the city of Kenner, what we have just purchased, what has come in. That is going to be very, very useful throughout the city of Kenner. Changing anything that we need to change through, from parks to streets, anything going on in the city of Kenner. So if you didn't notice it, it's not out there for a repair, it's out there for show. And it's out there to brag about, and you all should be very happy and take part of that, because with y'all's help, we're able to accomplish those kind of purchases. So thank y'all, and thank also to Chad and his crews for making that happen.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mayor Zahn, is there any other? That's it? Okay. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. That will conclude the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brennan? Yes. Councilman McKinney?
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,836, an ordinance approving an agreement with Treasure Chest Casino LLC for the lease of Kenner property.
Motion by Councilwoman McKinney, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Excuse me. Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to open a public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKinney? Yay. Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing.
Name and address, Mr. Al.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. I support this ordinance. It's a long time coming, but I guess it's better late than never, because it was about 3 years or so ago that the state passed legislation to allow these casinos to come on land. And, you know, this, like I said, about 3 years ago, maybe a little longer than that. So it's about time, and I do support this ordinance. Now, Councilman Carroll, I'm going to just stay up here because I need to speak on the next two ordinances as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Al. Any more discussion by anyone? Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
This would be to close your hearing, sir. Councilman Wilmot?
Excuse me, close the hearing.
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing.
Now, a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, I've received a request from Councilmember Segura to amend the ordinance. If I could read the amendment into the record at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Section 2, we're going to add a Section 2 that will read that all revenues derived by the City of Kenner from the amended and restated ground lease with the Treasure Chest Casino shall be shared between the City of Kenner and the Kenner Police Department, with 24% of those funds going to the Kenner Police Department and 67% of those funds going to the City of Kenner. Those funds going to the City of Kenner shall be dedicated 50% to capital projects, 25% to be equally budgeted in each councilmatic geographic district for infrastructure maintenance and construction, and 25% for debt reduction. This revenue sharing is not intended to, nor does it apply to any portion of the revenues generated by the amended and restated ground lease with the Treasure Chest Casino, which are payable directly to the Kenner Police Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Segura, seconded by Councilmember Hayes on the amendment. Councilman Segura on the amendment.
Thank you. What this is doing is just trying to clarify some word differences from the original lease and the new lease. In the original lease back in the early 90s when the treasure chest was first coming to the city of Kenner, it was in the lease in a section that said that all parties, meaning the treasure chest, the mayor, the chief, the council, the city attorneys, the attorneys for the treasure chest, all recognize that the police department would receive what is allowed or instructed by our charter. The systematic funding is 24% of undedicated funds. So with that, it was clear in that lease, in a paragraph, to acknowledge that disbursement of 24% would go straight to the police department. After the lease was enacted, then the council passed an ordinance to disperse the remaining 76% of the revenues, as we generally know to be, go toward debt reduction, city capital, and then split amongst the 5 council districts. With the new lease, that particular paragraph that expressed the police getting to 24% wasn't there. It really didn't need to be there in the first one, but as with any lease, it just sort of supported the intent of all parties at the time to ensure that our police got the proper funding that is required. So without the new lease having that paragraph, then that ordinance that was passed in, I think, 1996 would only state how the city disperses its share of the revenue, and then that would cause perhaps a question on the police's share. So this amendment is just to make that clear that the intent is to continue what has been in place since the boat first arrived here, and through this next 75 years of this lease will be dispersed in the same fashion, with the police getting its 24% of that revenue, and then the city's disbursement will stay the same unless changed at another time. So with that, I encourage everyone to support this amendment. Thank you.
Ms. Fauché, would you like to add anything? And sometimes, I guess, to be able to maybe add a little bit more layman's terms, what Councilman Segura said, to ensure that everybody is aware of exactly what's being proposed right now.
I'm happy to do that, but that's probably something you would want the lawyers who are supposed to be rendering legal opinions to do.
Well, I am willing to wait for them to give the information as well. Which particular one you may
Well,
want?
I'd pick the less attractive one, frankly.
Well, that's the easy pick.
You got that one?
Yeah. Mr. Attorney Rayford, you got the floor.
I think Councilman Segura kind of laid it out fairly clearly. The original amendment, way back in 1996, long before most of us were around here, it did provide in there that the money, that there was a 24% that went to the police department. There was a subsequent ordinance that could arguably say that it clouded the issue, and this amendment just makes it crystal clear as to what happens to the 1% that comes to the city.
Right. My only question was this an omission, or was it something that was written in a way that we thought would be more, explaining it better?
I just figured out why he called on me, counsel. You want me to answer that one?
Now you know.
It's the ball's back in your court.
All right. So on January 6th, there was communication and discussion going on between our attorneys and the attorneys at Treasure Chest. And the fact that there was very confusing language in there regarding the police, in particular the true-up at the end of the year, it was brought to my attention that that language was in there, and that we also had an ordinance, which was much clearer, and that the ordinance, in fact, set forth all of that. And I said, well, then why do we need it in the contract if we have it in the ordinance? And I think, as Councilman Segura has said, he knows it doesn't necessarily need to be in the lease, but we still, even once we pass this, we need to go back and fix that ordinance. The ordinance is really the law. It was, in fact, brought to our attention that there was some issue with the language, and that's why we addressed that. So there was never any intention by anybody to defund the police, in case that's the rumor that's going around. Instead, what we were trying to do was clarify the language because there was inconsistency. So when it was brought to me, I said, let's just go with the ordinance. I've since said go forward and put it back in the lease, but we still have to fix the ordinance.
Thank you, Ms. Horsey. Councilman Segura, to close.
Well, that's true. That's, as you said, that the 1996 ordinance and the way it was written did infer what was in the original lease, the 24%. So it understood, at least in my reading, and I believe others would too, that it was only dispersed in the city's 76%. So with that, this will make it clear that even in this new lease, it's still intended for the police to get its 24 and the city gets 76. But as I have talked with the attorneys, we will probably bring back up that 1996 ordinance and just re-clarify in that also as the official funding of the revenue from the treasure chest and how it goes. So that'll come up later.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Carroll, Councilman Wilmot had his hand up. Is it okay
Yes.
if we recognize him? Councilman Wilmot?
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you. Chief, I just wanted to ask you, is this something that you've reviewed and you're okay with this clarification?
Yes, because all it does is continue what was in the original contract. It's pretty much the same language.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? Nope. So motion by, Madam Clerk,
Yes,
are
sir.
we still in the
You're on-
amendment phase, or are we approving the amendments, or
You're on the
we're going
amendment.
into approve?
You're on the amendment. Motion by Councilmember Segura, seconded by Councilman Hayes. As the clerk read into the record, please vote on the amendment.
To approve the amendment. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Wilmot. To approve, council members, please vote.
Let me clarify, your motion was by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by McKinney, on approval as amended.
Okay, thank you.
You want to speak, Councilman McKinney? Councilman McKinney, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, and I apologize if I didn't ask this clarification question prior. I just want to clarify that the agreement with the Treasure Chest Casino is the same as, the funding is the same as the original agreement that was come to in 1996. So I think that's an important thing to clarify, because I want to make sure that, we're getting the same funding form, we'll be getting the same funding amount, and my understanding is that we'll actually be getting more, so I just want to clarify that.
The funding numbers are the same. The city's getting 1% plus $3 a customer that comes in. The police are getting the greater of $400,000 or 1% of I think it's gross gaming revenue, I think, is the term.
Gross after some.
Yeah, and so the funding formula, not the funding, the rental formula stays the same. The two major changes is that based on the appraisal that we have stuck in a not to go below number. It's not a number they'll ever get to unless the casino is shut down for a whole year, but it is.
It could happen.
It could happen, but it hasn't happened yet. They have not ever gotten down to that low of a number. And then the other major change is that presuming that where the city will end up with more money is that presuming they get the approvals to come on land and the casino is built, They are projecting larger gaming revenue, which then would increase the dollars to the city and to the police department.
Okay, thank you. And then also, just to clarify, also, the appraisal that was done is in the funding, is that based on, what is that based on? None of that revenue is based on COVID numbers, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, and the appraisal is done as a ground lease only, because the city is not providing any improvements. It's as if we lease the ground to a hotel to build a hotel on the site. They own the improvements, we own the land, so the appraisal is based off of a ground lease only. There is one other, and I forgot this, and I'm sure Ms. Foshi would catch me on this one. There is one other portion to the payment that the casino is going to be making to the city. It's going to go to Visit Kenner. It's in the amount of $200,000 a year for 5 years to be used by Visit Kenner to market Lake Town.
Okay, and when is, I guess, obviously that's projected because they won't pay that until it is actually opens.
That is, no, actually they're going to pay that before. I think it will be the first quarter of 2022. Don't hold me to that. I got to go back and look at an email. It's either the first quarter of 2022 or the first quarter of 2023. 22.
Okay, so that's prior to the casino, the land-based casino opening though, correct?
Yeah,
So-
whether there is ever a land-based casino or not, they are going to pay us $200,000 a year for 5 years, starting in 2022.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Attorney. No more. Mayor Zahn, you have the floor.
I think what's important is, first of all, I want to thank the Treasure Chest Casino for coming to the table and offering that extra money over the course of, I think it's 4 or 5 years. So that shows their commitment to the city of Kenner. So I know Treasure Chest Casino representatives are in the audience, and I want to thank them for what they've done to help promote Kenner through Visit Kenner. Being in the ordinance is important. I know y'all got to do a little house cleaning on that, but always have a law to go with the contract. It's great to be in the contract, that's fine, but having it having an ordinance that also backs it up with a statement of law is extremely important. So I would suggest to this council for the 7 of you all to agree to continue that ordinance also, because I've said this in the past. If you ever have a guy that's sitting here that's anti-police, not me, or you have 4 of y'all sitting up there that's anti-police, the police begin to have a problem. So having that backup as an ordinance, Councilman Segura and Councilman Hayes, I know y'all have been talking about it along with the rest of the council, that's important to have that also. So we, the administration, support both the contract with the police in it and also the ordinance. We feel that the ordinance is the more important part. It's fine for it to be in the contract.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,837. An ordinance adopting the operating budget for the city of Kenner for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to open the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 to open your public hearing.
Al Morello, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. I missed the budget hearings, so if someone can tell us what the operating budget is, a figure, and if it's an increase from last year, or if it's the same, or I doubt if it's a decrease, but I'd like to get those figures.
Thank you, Mr. Morel.
What the budget is.
Ms. Herring, would you please answer that?
Sure.
Thank you.
So the total operating budget is $73,682,183, and that's compared to $62,056,537 in 2021. And we also compared it to 1920 just because 2021 with the COVID year, it's, you know, it could give you a bad look at it. So the 1920 budget was $70,112,249. So yes, it's
Ms.
increased.
Herring, did you say
mean the
1920?
2019 budget,
Did you
right?
say 1920?
What did I say? I'm sorry.
1920.
Yeah. Well, it's fiscal year 1920. I'm sorry, that's how
Oh,
we,
1920.
yeah, it's a 1920 fiscal
So
year. So 2019, 2020.
Okay. All right, because you got a couple of people out there wondering what's going on.
Yeah, sorry, that's just our shortcut, so.
Thank you.
Is that it, Mr. Al?
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, sir. Any more from the public to speak? I do not see any. Okay, Mr. Al, thank you. Motion by Council Member Brannigan, second by Council Member McKinney to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing.
Motion by Council Member Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Is there any discussion on the budget before we vote? Councilman Brannigan, you can open.
Councilman
Okay.
Brannigan.
Okay, I hope that you can see my budget binder up here. And a lot of work was done going through this budget and trying to find monies to satisfy some things that the council wanted to do. We identified 4 positions in the budget that we were going to defund the monies for those positions, and we were going to take a large sum of money out of another piece of the budget to accomplish the goal that we set forth. The goals that we were looking at were we wanted to increase the pay for the classified employees, our workers, by somewhere between 1% and 3%. And what happened was when we looked at numbers and salaries and everything, we ended up with a 2% increase there. The other piece of the puzzle was a budget analysis person, an attorney person that would work in our office with the council people. Today, this morning, Councilmember McKinney and I met with the administration and found out that some of the pieces of the puzzle that we were defunding or taking money from, we couldn't do it. And I just want to commend Elizabeth and Deborah for working with us all day today. 1 million text messages back and forth, numbers flying all over the place, and basically they have found monies to address what we are looking for. So I feel that we're in a good position.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Thank you, Natalie. Yes, just to follow Councilman Brannigan, we worked together with the other members of the council to identify funding for a 2% raise for all full-time police, fire, and civil service. That's above and beyond what is currently in the budget. So those who qualify for 2% and 5% are going to get, that are civil service, fire, and police will get 7%. So, and as we said, there are several positions and several other items that we save money on that are going to be to cover those positions. We also thought it was a high priority from our perspective to get assistance from a budgetary and a legal analyst position So we as a council want to add a legal budget analyst position that will work in the council office to assist in the over 100 hours that we scoured through this budget and provided assistance and review and oversight, which is our main legislative duty. And I think that, and as a budget analyst for energy, this is right up my alley. So this is what I sadly have fun doing this. So this, and to be able to work with the administration, be able to work with my colleagues to do our own analysis and do our own study to raise the pay of civil service employees, fire and police, all of those first responders that were working every day during the pandemic. They didn't get days off. You can't call in sick, or you can't call in, I'm scared to go to work, if you're a policeman or a fireman. So, all those people worked hard and deserve this extra 2% to make them to a higher level. So, we're working, as I said, we're working through the administration. We are going to, this isn't necessarily an amendment. This is something that we're working through with the administration and doing a budget amendment, not tonight, but in the future, because we worked all day with them, with finance, and with Ms. Foshi, and to get this done. So I just want all the employees to know that we value you. We hear you. We want you to feel like you are part of the community. We are all part of the community, and we're getting this done in conjunction with all of us and the administration. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you. Last year, I had some difficulties with the budget. We had some issues that I thought were important that still aren't addressed in this budget. However, that budget last year, again, there were certain things in it that I thought just procedurally didn't come about right. And I think those things are still present here, but I think it's something that needs to be fixed in the future. As far as the things that my colleagues have been talking about thus far, I am grateful that those things are in there, and we either can vote up or down on this budget. The things that my colleagues have added are so very important that I have a total change of heart for this budget. I'm going to support this budget because of those things, and I hope that in the future we can look at more transparency on pay raises, promotions, and so forth, so we can do it in a way that the public can see who's getting promotions and pay raises. But just the budget alone, in my opinion, isn't enough when the budget is actually advertised 2 days before the budget hearing. I think that needs to be corrected. That's my opinion. I know we have an AG opinion that says something along those lines, and our city attorney says that it's okay to do it the way we're doing it, or the city legal office. So I still have difficulties with it. But I like what I'm seeing. I think the classified employees need more pay, and I think that this is going to happen. The 7% that my colleague was talking about a minute ago, that needs to happen so bad. And I'm glad to see it happen, and I'm going to support that because we also need that legal analysis person as well. So thank you, and that's all my comments.
Thank you, Councilman.
Any other council members before Councilman Brannigan closes? Councilman Brennan?
Councilman, you're going to close? Councilman Brennan, you have.
Thank you, Council Chair.
You got it.
I just, to follow on those comments, yes, I think it was a lot of hard work, a lot of questions, a lot of answers, a lot of emails. George spent a fortune on sticky notes, and but that company's very happy about that. So, but no, I just want to thank all my colleagues in the administration for providing us the answers. Liz getting this information as we needed it. And it was a good effort, and I think ultimately the employees will be the recipient of benefits from this. So thank you all.
Thank you. Mayor Zahn?
Thank you, Council Chairman. I want to thank the council for doing this. I mean, with what we propose, a potential 5% for some employees, along with your 2%, and when we met this morning and talked about it, administration was 100% supportive of it. So there is a potential for some employees to get up to 7%, including police and fire. I want to thank y'all for agreeing to include police and fire, because that's extremely important, along with every civil servant that's out there. But putting police and fire on the same level is extremely important. I do support that, and I also do support your budget and research person, but I'm asking you all to support an effort to raise our our assistant city attorneys that would be equal to this person to the same amount that we decide. I know we're going to put it in the budget. I've committed to that, but we need to work together a little bit further to get each and every city attorney, assistant city attorney, that is not making that amount to that same level, because that's important. And you know I've discussed this with y'all, but I want to go publicly out there and talk about it, that's something I'd like to work with y'all on very closely. So I'm committed to make the amendment proposed by this council, George and Christie, that we worked with this morning, worked all day with, along with the rest of the council, of course, that are all agreeing with it, to move forward with it, but also work with this administration to look at the legal department and help out those guys and those ladies that are working each and every day also. So thank you, and you'll see me in 28 days, I think it is, with a budget amendment.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Hayes?
I don't think anybody up here is going to disagree with the raises, especially for the police and firemen. However, I received a phone call today at 2 o'clock about the additional position. I do have a question on the additional position. Number one, I don't know the job description. And number two, I don't know the salary that we're talking about here. I would like to know that. I think the public has a right to know what kind of money we're paying for this individual before we move forward. Especially since what the mayor just said, that he wants to raise, again, I don't know what this salary is, but if he wants to raise additional people to this certain amount, I'd like to know what the ramifications are. Here we are, a couple hours before this meeting, talking about a new position, and obviously has a financial impact on the budget.
And Councilman Hayes, I appreciate that. Let me clarify what I said, because you're right. I was presented with the proposal that the person that will be hired, and that's still being determined how they're going to be hired, but the person that we're going to budget this evening is going to be a budget analysis with a law degree. We, all of us, including the chief, have people working for us that's assistant city attorneys with law degrees. So I just want to be, while we're being fair with all the civil servants, and you guys know this, it's no surprise, let's be fair with everybody. Let's be fair with everybody who has a law degree in the legal department. This person that you're hiring, or that I'm hiring, will not be able to, that gets hired by the city, will not be able to render a legal opinion. Ours can. So if they can render legal opinions, I just want y'all to work with me, making everyone equal. We're talking about equality tonight. Let's talk about equality with anybody with a law degree.
You going? No, I just was going to say that the person that we were talking about has not been hired. Obviously, just like every position in the city of Kenner, there's a range that starts at one end and ends at the other end, based on a person's experience, based on a person's degrees. All of that comes into play. So to be able to give a dollar amount for their salary, I believe is almost impossible to do today, but it will become in order with an attorney. I can assure you it will be that, because the person will be an attorney. So when that person is hired, I'm sure it will be public knowledge. It will be public knowledge to everybody, but there is no set dollar amount now, other than based on what we have already in place now for some of our attorneys. That'll be a good place to start with, Councilman Hayes, to see within that range. That's just my personal opinion.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes, actually, to answer that question, there is no job description per se. the person would have extensive knowledge in government budget analysis and be an analyst, but as well as either a legal degree or experience in legal expertise. So the confluence of both of those are what we're really looking for, because we want a person that is able to provide a myriad of information to the council, all 7 of us. We want to be able to understand, because we talk about budget all year, we talk about legal issues all year. So in order to have that availability, we want them to be there. The initial suggestion was to have it at the level of a DCAO. Obviously, that is up in the air. That's something that is negotiable. That is an upper level. And that is with we included, additional benefits and everything like that. So that number in that range was about 177, all in. But this is something that's important. I feel like that's important to all of us. And that's why you were approached, Councilman Hayes. Councilman Hayes. And, I think this is, that answers that question. But this is obviously something that we want to provide for it in the budget, and then we'll figure out all the details after. Because if we don't have the funding for it, it's definitely not going to happen.
Thank you.
Councilman Segura? Yeah. You want?
She's finished?
All right. Councilman Segura.
Thank you. It's certainly pleasing to hear the number that's just been put out for 7, or is it 7.5, I'm not sure what it is, raise for our employees, city employees, police and fire, because that will be one of the most highest raises I've ever seen for city employees in my tenure with the city. So I'm very jealous that I wasn't here when this happened as an employee, but I'm sure they will be happy. And that is the intent for us, to keep them happy so that we keep our employee retention. And I know that's another big topic when it comes to hiring, is getting our starting salaries up so that we can hire people easier in this competitive world out there. So I don't want to get bogged down in that, what is it, the Archer study, or whichever one we're waiting on for that. But that is still a topic that needs to be addressed, is to approach our starting salaries so that it makes it easier for us to hire people to do the work that we need to be done, and that we pay them a proper starting salary. So with that, yeah, I'm certainly in favor of this, and I will note that, these budget processes, I think, start around January, February, and end first meeting of June because of the deadline that we have to pass. So it's a very fluid document. It changes and swirls around in all sorts of ways. I've had some conversations with everybody up here on this, and I'm glad to see that this is what the outcome will be, because that was what I wanted to see all along, was get the most raise we could for our employees. So with all of this conversation that was had, or wherever it was had, this is the good outcome, and I'm glad we're all participating and supporting this. And for our workers, both police and fire, who deserve it, we thank you for your work, and we want to keep you in our desire to keep you and your family financially stable. So thank y'all.
Thank you, Councilman. And, before Councilman Brannigan close, Mayor Zahn.
If you don't mind,
Yeah,
just
please go ahead.
for total transparency, and everyone knows what we're looking at, when I come back with a budget amendment for this position that I am supporting with you all, we're looking for 177 with benefits. So I just want that to be, you may have said it, Councilwoman, I'm sorry, but we're going to come back with a budget amendment proposed by you all for 177 for the employee with benefits. So that's what when I come back with that, though, I'm coming back, and I'll be looking forward to working with Councilman McKinney and Councilman Brannigan, along with the rest of the council, to look at how we're going to help our other assistant city attorneys. That's it. I'm sorry.
Is it? Okay, thank you, Mayor. And first, I'd like to thank all of the council members for the work that we put in for this budget. There's always something a little bit extra during this time of the year. particularly Councilwoman McKinney, she's a numbers person. One of the advantages having her is it always took us longer to get to the number. She would pop it out like that to the point where you would have to look at it and see how she got there so fast, because it took us a little bit longer to get there. So thank her for that expertise, because this is what she does. This is her job every day. For us, it's not. So it takes us a little longer to get to some conclusions. But, you know, I have done a number of budgets since my tenure on the council, and it's always two areas that I always have a conflict with and always have a challenge with, and I'm glad we started talking about it a little bit public now. One, it is for when we use the term fair, and when we talk about the unclassified workers in the city of Kenner, because in my opinion, the unclassified workers, and they are the workers, in case the definition doesn't matter, are the people or the more labor-intense employees that are out in the heat doing a lot of the work. In my opinion, and this has been my opinion since I've been on the council, it has not been fair for their salary. Not only in my opinion, but it has been opinion by reports. And God forbid if I say it, Councilman Brennan is going to kill me, Archer report and everybody else. But if I hear that word one more time, I think I'm going to scream. But the fact is, the fairness has not been there. It is not fair for someone to work for the city of Kenner to make less than someone at McDonald's and Burger King now who are making $15 an hour. That isn't fair. So when we say fair, let's include everybody in this fairness. And that is where we have to get to. That is the fairness that I see and I talk about. The second part is that mid-level range of assistant directors and other directors and whatever, that has not been fair either. There is a certain level of people who have not risen with that fairness. And it happens every year. So when we are going to be fair, we need to start fair right there and use fair totally all the way around. And those are the two things, and I may have a pet peeve, that every budget session I always address. It never has been completely, and I doubt it very will totally, but I think we have to move at a little faster pace than what we are moving right now. Because we move at a faster pace at other times. We need to move at that pace for the unclassified and for some of those directors and assistant directors who are moving at more of a snail's pace. So that is my opinion about the budget. It's going to be hard. It's never going to get everything you want, never going to get everything I want, but we have to be able to address that we are lacking in our attempt to make that quote-unquote fair. Thank you. Councilman Brannigan. Councilman Hayes, sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, I just want to hear, did you mention a salary just now?
I was talking to my CEO, and maybe Councilman McKinney mentioned it, but with benefits, what I'm being asked to do to come back with the budget amendment, which I have committed to, with benefits is 177.
177.
With benefits. It's not just the salaries.
And
with
benefits is usually about 20% of a salary base. I just want everybody to hear that because you're facing this way, and I just wanted to make sure everybody understood this position supposedly in the range, depending on the job description, but the range of $177,000.
But we as the administration need to know what we're going to budget to come back in 28 days. So it has been asked of the administration, when these people we mentioned before have been working with the two council people all throughout the day.
Today.
That's what we've been asked to do, and we have not said no. So I'm on the record saying, I'm not saying no, but I just want to be on the record saying what we've been asked to do, and we're going to do it.
Okay.
We're going to come back with the amendment. The reason amendment can't be done tonight is because we are working on this today, and we just came up with the funding sources. So we're in total support of what the council has asked. We have no issues with that, but we are looking for, we're coming back with the amendment after we looked for the funding source today.
I'd just like to go on record to everybody is that I've never had a problem getting an answer out of our present administration and present attorneys. Everybody's been totally cooperative on anything that I request. So I don't know, other people might have had a problem, But again, I wanted to repeat that salary of $177,000 range. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, and look, we budget to salary, not to range. So we have to budget that and come back and give this
I
to you.
understand. I
with the
understand the
amendment.
budget.
Councilman McKinney?
I just want to clarify that the salary is not 177. The salary is 129. The all-in benefits with salary is 177.
I believe I said that. I
Okay.
believe I said that the inclusive package is 177. When Councilman Hayes questioned me on that, I came back and said,
Employee
it's not
benefits is always
177.
20%
Right.
of a salary base.
You're on, Councilman Brannigan.
Okay, on this, the upper salary is 129,000 something, it's whatever the DCAO salary is. But if we hire someone and we look at their experience and look at what's going on, it could be a $90,000 job. So the 177 that you're blowing out of the water may not happen. And I understand from a budget standpoint that you have to put the 177 in there, but I don't want the people thinking that we're hiring a budget analysis for $177,000. That's not the salary. So it could be a range of 90 to 129, wherever they fit. We worked a long time today on this, and the reason that we don't have an amendment tonight to present, and we have to pass the budget tonight, because of the constraints of the way the charter reads, we have to make sure that the different accounts, and there's like 7 different places, 8 different places that money's coming out of, money's going into, and we cannot afford to have a mistake. So the bottom line is we are taking the word of the administration. They committed to us to do this. Ms. Herring told us that we would have something next week, and I'll be looking for it Tuesday, Wednesday next week. But don't blow it out of proportion that we're going to pay somebody $177,000 when you look at all of the other salaries in our budget are inflated because of benefits. Okay? It's every salary in the city, that is the situation. I am supporting this. I think that helping these employees is a big deal because the majority of the classified employees are the backbone of our city, and they are the ones that are out there busting their tails to make all of us look good. And I commend them for doing that. And that's why we went out and looked for funding sources. We had an agenda, a couple of things that we wanted to do, and I appreciate Deborah Fauché and Elizabeth Herring for 9 million text messages back and forth, 9 million sets of numbers, but this will be worked out, and based on the administration saying that they're going to do this, I'm good with not having the budget amendment tonight. It's a very interesting process.
Can I get clarification? Don't want to blow anything out, but what does the council want us to come back with? 129 or 90?
Well, if 129 is a salary,
Right, so come back with
I
129,
want the upper
but,
salary, but if we hire somebody and it's less than that, it can go down, correct?
right.
Okay.
Right, but I think it came across that we're trying to blow it out. We're not trying to blow it out.
No.
We're trying to get clarification on the council, and it looks like it's going to be 7 council people maybe, is asking this administration to come back with a budget amendment, which we agreed to earlier, for 177.
That's correct.
Okay,
But if
that's
if we hire someone at 90,
I just want to make sure.
then
You
the
mentioned
177 is going to be a lot
then we have
less.
we have a surplus that goes back into the surplus?
Oh,
Well, that's what would happen with it.
whatever line item
Right,
it came
that's
out
fine.
of, it's got to go back to
So,
where it came from.
all right, we just need to know 177 is what the council's asking us to do, and we're going to come back with that in 28 days.
Correct.
And
But
if you get it to the 90s or higher hundreds, we'll work with that.
Correct.
Okay,
But I
I'm
don't
fine.
want the public watching this or anyone in this audience listening to this to think that the salary is 177,000 because it's all the benefits and everything thrown into it.
I said that.
Okay, and it's everybody that works for the city is in the same boat.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're, again, I think we're saying the same thing. I just want to make sure that I heard the amount 90, so they're going to probably work on this
No,
against my will this weekend instead of working on it Monday. It looks like two ladies are going to
No,
work
I
it
don't-
over the weekend or tomorrow, but I just want them to work on 177. We come back with that, and y'all tell us, no, that's not what we want. We said 90. So I'm
No.
just, clarification, George, that's it.
Okay, and I don't want these two ladies working this weekend either, and I will be calling and passing by your houses to make sure you're doing whatever you need to do around your house.
That sounds a little weird, but that's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Black Corvette,
Also,
Chief.
Yeah, the Batmobile's outside. Run.
also, this 2% is not going to be COLA or merit. It's going to be called an elective increase. Elective increase based on what.
Based on my conversations with the Director of Civil Service today.
Perfect.
All right? And just a reminder, we're funding this, we have to take it back to Civil Service for approval. We have no reason to think that Civil Service would not approve this.
We understand.
I'm sorry, what was that comment?
You're actually just funding that increase. You're not actually making the increase. You're not giving raises to the employees. Only the Civil Service Board will do that. So we have to take this back to Civil Service and say, this is what we would like to do. I cannot imagine Civil Service saying no to that, particularly when we have Archer coming out around 7%. So basically what we're doing with these numbers is bringing us up to the 7%, 5 from the mayor and the additional 2 from you. So I see no reason. Again, you never know, but I see no reason that the Civil Service Board would not support this.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Again, nobody here is going to vote against these raises. However, I do want to bring to everybody's attention what is being discussed today, is that the administration was asked today, starting probably at 8:30, ending probably right to the start of this meeting, to go back and try to make a budgetary changes. Because I think there should be some positions eliminated here also. I don't know, because I haven't heard that. But again, that's not fair to the administration, because I also heard we're holding the administration responsible. We have been in this budget for quite a few days. To have the last day for this to come up is ridiculous. This is not the way to run a company. It's not the way to run a city. In business, this is not really done. In business today, an employee is handled a booklet, and that booklet says exactly what all the benefits are, because that makes up a salary. Many people change jobs because of benefits. But again, I think it's not correct on our part to hold the administration one day, and now we're kidding about working on weekends and all. This is not the way a true budget process should go. And I'm apologizing to the administration for this.
Well, Councilman Hayes, I totally agree with you, and we met with the administration at 8:30 this morning, but as you are well aware, the budget came out on May 1st. On May 15th, we got 68 pages of changes. On Memorial Day, that night, we got another 30 pages of changes. So combing through this budget, and I did my homework, and that offends me saying that, because we could not go to the administration until we had all of the facts. So.
Be offended.
What?
Be offended.
I'd just like to say, I'm not apologizing to anybody. Because if you look through this budget and see everybody's salaries, you deserve for us to come up sometime at the last minute. You're not doing this for free, Councilman Hayes. They are getting paid a fair salary. So what does that mean? Sometime it's going to happen. So that's just part of the job. We're all big boys and girls here. Earn the money. Sometimes it takes a little extra. That's all I'm saying.
Let me say, when we talked about the budget, we spoke primarily 70% about people. Nobody is against the raises. Nobody. I want to make that clear. This new position, I have a problem with, since it just bubbled up today with the salary base that we're talking about. That's all.
Yes, Chair.
I appreciate your
Will be,
comments.
yeah.
Mayor Zahn?
If I clear up something?
Yeah.
So tonight, you're voting on the budget that was presented by the administration.
Yes.
You will vote in 28 days on two amendments, two separate amendments. At that point, that's where the discussion can happen, or a split vote, however you want to do it, where everyone may not agree. Tonight, you are voting on the Zahn budget. In 28 days, I will make amendments as asked by the council. That's when you have a chance to say, I agree with this, I don't agree with this amendment. It was too, I hate to say too last minute, but we all were too last minute getting this, y'all getting it to us getting it back to you, worked on it all day, not me, these two ladies, and here's where we are. So the amendments is where you can pick and choose what you don't want to do. Tonight is my budget.
And Mayor, for the
28
public,
days will be
for
two,
the
and I
public
think that's helpful for
edification,
them.
what are the two amendments that we're going to be discussing in the future?
I'm being asked to do, on top of my raise that I propose, anywhere from 3% and 2%, depending on if they can get it by merit, which possibly is 5, I've been asked to do another 2 on top of that. Absolutely, positively, no problem. The other amendment it will be that I've been asked to do is give y'all a budget and research person. I'm making it clear, and I've made it clear to these two council people today, I feel that each and every assistant city attorney, whatever number we work on, they need to be at the same rate. 2
I
amendments.
just request one thing, is that can we have a separate vote on those two
Yeah,
amendments?
two separate amendments. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So Mayor, let me ask you a question. So if we come in with 90,000, does that mean we go into the city attorney's office and dropping their salaries?
I don't think most of them, I think there's only one that makes 104. So
Okay.
you should come, I think what your question is, you want to keep everybody equal with the city attorney's office. I don't think you want that, because I believe some of the assistant city attorneys make 65 to 70.
Okay.
Now, if y'all really want to save some money for this budget person, that's a great price range to be in. I don't have to worry about assistant city attorneys having that. I'm just going by the discussion we had today, Councilman Brannigan. I'm saying yes, but I also want to help our assistant city attorneys. If
Okay.
we come in at 129,
Okay.
I think only one makes 104. Assistant city attorneys. Deputy, I'm sorry.
Well, it's obvious that
That's
the
a
goal,
deputy.
it's
That's a deputy,
obvious
I'm
that the
sorry.
goal that we have is to raise the classified employees, and this person that we want in the council is going to be beneficial to 7 of us. And, you know, if somebody doesn't want to use that person, that's their choice.
No,
Yeah, I don't,
I'm with you. I mean, I just let you know, I think we need to be fair across the board.
Okay.
so before we vote on it, I would just like to say that I appreciate everybody's passion and comments about this, because this is the one chance we get to do this. So if we have different opinions, if it happened today that we came up with this, then that's the way that it is. I mean, we have to be able to not be limited to say, look at the clock and say tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we're not going to say anything else. Nobody functions like that, because as you get more information, you make better decisions and you do things that would be more beneficial. That's all we did, and that's all everybody did, from the administration and the council. And we have to continue to keep working in that posture. So I think we all did a good job on it. I thought there was an understanding that we were going to vote on those two at a separate time, but I'm glad the mayor brought that out. This is totally different from that. If someone chooses not to support that, that is their right not to support it. And I hope they do, but if they don't, I understand as well. So, as we talk about this person's salary and that person's salary and ensuring that this one is competent with that one, that is always my pet peeve, to make sure that is given to everyone, because it's not always. Now we made the distinction to say we want to make sure it's in line with that. So over the years, when I've been saying I want to make sure it is in line, it has been falling, I believe, on deaf ears. But we're going to eventually get there. But I just want to say that. So to close,
I want to thank Deborah Fauché and Elizabeth Herring again, because without these two ladies, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this. And every city employee should thank them
because by them getting this done, it increased your pay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are we on the approval?
Yes, sir, we're on approval of item 9B.
Okay. Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Yes.
Yay.
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 Yes.
Item 9C is a public hearing regarding the summary ordinance number 12,839. An ordinance adopting the capital budget for the city of Kenner for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to open the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKinney? Yes. Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ms. Morella.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. Once again, same thing. What is our capital budget this year? And while I got the mic, to back up just a little bit on the resolution just before this one with the discussion, real quick. Councilman Carroll, okay?
If you're talking on the capital budget, Mr. Morella, or
Well,
you?
I'm talking on the capital budget. I want to know how much it is, but I would like to make a comment concerning our workers.
Yeah, you can do that after Ms. Herring give you that number.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Ms. Herring?
Ready? Yep. So the capital budget this year is $5,846,727 compared to $4.33 million in the year 2020-2021.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Herring.
Okay, the issue concerning our workers, Councilman Carroll, I do agree with most of what you said. Before we even look at creating another position or positions in our city, we got classified workers working out here in the field that's making $8 and some change an hour. And I mean, like Councilman Brannigan said, they are the backbone of this city. Now, there's a disparity there. And our classified workers are not moving up. They're not being elevated up quick enough. They should be, their pay should be substantially more than that. These guys are working out in the elements every day, and it's hard work. It's not easy work out there. So civil service needs to get with this administration, they need to get with this council, and they need to take a good look at these, and they need to ask themselves, can I live on $8 or something an hour? Let them make their decision on that. Let them go out there and work in the rain and work in the freezing cold and work in the 130-degree heat index for $8 and something an hour. See if they'll do that. That's what needs to be addressed. Anybody got any comments, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Morella.
Thank you, Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, sir. Any comments on the capital budget?
You got one?
Ms. Stacy, name and address.
Stacy Alessandro, 3309 Chateau Boulevard. Excuse me. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to look at the budget for the most part. So I do have some questions.
Ms. Stacy, we are on the capital
budget. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering about our fire stations. We got the money from the state, I believe, over 2 years ago to build our fire station on Loyola. Right now, we just have some vacant land that costs a couple $1 million. The firemen are in a trailer. They have gravel for a driveway. So I'd like to know, I know there was some talk about, oh, we'll have plans at the end of this year, and then maybe next year we'll have the station. I want to know, my questions are very specific. How much money is in this budget to build that fire station? Is the money in the budget to actually build it? That's number one. And number two, we heard from the firemen at the last meeting, the roofs are leaking in at least 3 stations. They need to be replaced. The buildings are full of mold. They flush the toilet upstairs in the bathroom, it comes down into the kitchen. These are our heroes. These are the men that run into burning buildings, and we're treating them like that. The water goes down to where they're living, where they're sleeping. Would any of you live like in these conditions? Because when they're at that station, it's where they live. They sleep, they eat, the toilets don't work. Would any of you live in those conditions? But yet we're asking our heroes, first responders, and to say, oh, I didn't know? There's only like 6 stations. Anybody with eyes can go and see the mold on the ceiling. There's mold behind the walls. This has been going on since at least Katrina. Mr. Giarosa at the last meeting said 3 times they opened the walls, and every time in that station, they found mold.
30 seconds, Ms. Stacy.
I'd like to know, please, somebody up there get some answers right now in this capital budget. How much is for the new station? Do we actually have the money now to build it, or do we waste it all on the land? And how much is budgeted to fix the roofs in at least 35, 37, and 39 stations?
Thank you. So the questions were relating to the fire department for capital budget funding available to fix the infrastructure and for the roofs, I believe.
Two responses. Number one, capital is budgeted by the year. So since we didn't get the money this year to build the building, it would not be in this year's budget. It's from 2 years ago. The money is in the budget, the capital budget, from 2019-20 to build it. All of the money is in the budget. We have the money. It is in the bank. The funding to fix every city facility, including the fire stations, is in citywide capital, and this year we have budgeted to citywide capital $717,000.
Thank you. Chief, you have comments?
Well, I was just going to reiterate what Ms. Fauché said, that the money for the fire station was in prior year's budget, so the money is already here. It's not showing up in the budget. The station's been planned for extended period of time, so the money was allocated back then. So the money is there to build the station. We just in the process. It's not a speedy process to do that once you go through all the bid processes and the public hearings and stuff involved in renovating the stations and stuff like that. We put the temporary station in place to reduce the time that it would take that unit to respond from the station right here to the south side of I-10, because the people in that community deserved us to be there when they called us in a reasonable amount of time. We was meeting the national standard, but anybody who lives there and dials 911 and needs the fire service at that moment, those minutes matter to that individual, so we tried to accommodate them. The temporary station, as she says, a trailer, it's a 140-mile-an-hour rated building. It's a pre-manufactured home. It's only so wide because that's the way it's designed to move from place to place. And we intend to use that temporary station as we move forward in the department with renovating these stations that's been here for extended period, for years. So we need to look funding going forward to renovate all the stations in the city. Of course, we would like to have the Taj Mahals of the area, but that takes funding to do that, and we're working on all the repairs, as we said, with the stations as they come up throughout as they are reported to us.
Thank you, Chief. And Ms. Stacy, I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, you have an opportunity towards the end to come back and to ask or fill in the holes. So we're still in the public hearing, correct, Madam Clerk? Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes. Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan to approve, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote. You wanted to?
Yes.
Okay. Councilwoman.
Yes, thank you. I just want to make sure that the members of the public who weren't able to see this budget know that we have $500,000 or a total of $717 in citywide building maintenance. I think that's going to make a good stride to help in our citywide facilities, and I think that's very important. You know, there are other things that are in there. The majority of that is citywide streets and drainage, which I personally feel is one of the most important things that we as a city do, is provide for those capital expenses. If you can't drive on your streets, if you can't get from point A to point B, then you're going to move. So I think that's the most important thing, as well as, you know, like I said, that's the highest level of funding, as well as statewide flood control, which is also important, because if your house gets flooded, then you don't want to live anywhere where your house gets flooded on a regular basis and you can't get to it either. So just wanted to point that out. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 9D is a public hearing regarding a resolution to hold a public hearing and approving amendment number 4 to the fiscal year 2019 annual action plan in the amount of $434,252 for the Community Development Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to open the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay. Are there anyone in the audience wishing to address during the public hearing? I do not see any. Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Hayes.
Yay.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay.
Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yay.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay.
Segura.
Yay.
Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve item 9D. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution selecting the New Orleans Advocate as the official journal for the city of Kenner for the fiscal year of 2021 to 2022.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Brennan.
Yes.
McKinney.
Yes.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay.
Segura.
Yay.
Hayes.
Yay.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution electing a Kenner City Council President and Vice President effective July 1st, 2021.
Motion by Councilwoman McKinney, second by Councilmember Carroll to approve. Council members, please vote.
McKinney.
Yay.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay.
Segura.
Yay.
Hayes.
Yay.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 13C is a resolution imploring the administration to open the Musbertolino track for walking for citywide use.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. We have some discussion. Mr. Al.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. I support this resolution. That playground needs to be open, and it needs to be open immediately. The only time any of those facilities should be closed to the public is if there was an event going on there, or there is construction work going on, if there's any upgrades going on at any of those facilities. And while we're at it, we got an indoor walking track in the Mus Bertolino gym. Just been closed for several years, so people don't have access to that. People who want to walk and it's steaming down raining outside, that's what that little track is up there for. So let's get these playgrounds open, man. I mean, these playgrounds belong to us. Let's get them open. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Hello again. Stacy Alessandro, 3309 Chateau Boulevard. I want to thank you, Councilman Carroll, for putting this resolution on. This is an issue that's been dragging on for months now. This track was resurfaced with our money, citizens' money, and it was completed over a year ago. In the last year or so, we've been denied the right to use the track that we paid for. This is unacceptable. There's a huge push on social media. So much so that there was a release put out, summer's here, the track's open, and they threw us a few crumbs of hours, 3 days a week, in the middle of the day. Most people that walk want to do it when the sun's not at its hottest point. Most people at work at that time. This is unacceptable. I've heard from so many people, oh, I'm committed to this track, we're going to get it open, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I want it open, and yet here we are. I asked y'all at the last meeting, I'm asking you now, are we going to do this or are we not? Are we kicking the can down the road again? Today, I'm asking y'all for action. Today, not at the next meeting. Today, I want every one of you guys to speak out on this, because I know every one of y'all have an opinion. Now's the time. Please, we want to hear from you. The people want to know where you stand. Is our track going to be open? We need it open. There's no excuse. 7 days a week from morning to night. Still in the middle of COVID, people should be out there walking. This is the best track. I used to walk on that track before it was closed. Many nights. Probably I've been out there 500 nights walking, all total. There's no problem with vandalism at that track. I could tell you firsthand how many times I've been there. So all these manufactured issues are just a smokescreen. I don't know what the reason is, but there's nothing that anybody can think of why we can't on this track. So I'm asking you guys, now is your opportunity. You represent the people. The people want the track open. Can y'all please chime in and tell us what we can do? Are we going to get the track open when the people need to use it, or are we not? I mean, please, let's get this. If you don't want to open it, say so now. But if you do, say so now, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. Mayor, Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you. Yeah, and I appreciate those folks who came up here and made comment. I think that's important, as usual, to have our citizens say how they feel about things. And of course, Mus Bertolino goes way, way back. I know my daughter and I, my daughter was an athlete when she was in grammar school, high school, and we used to go to the Mus Bertolino track. And it's an ovular track, which is great. You can clock them as they run. You can, watch their gait. It's important. It's good for training. I like that. I think it's important, and I think our athletes here in Kenner, our kids should be able to do that. Also for walking and exercise, it's a low impact, of course. I know it's expensive to have that resurface, and it lasts like 15 years or so. But my guess is, regardless, if you open it up to the public or not, it's still going to get worn down in 15 years. That's my guesstimation. It's just open to the open weather, and it's going to break down. That's just the type of material it is. But it's so important, and it means so much to a lot of people to have that available. And I support this, and I also ask to be added on as a co-author to it, please, at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Zahn?
If y'all could maybe hold some comments, I know Councilman Brannigan has some comments to after Mr. Charles Elon, Athletic Director, goes over the details on this first schedule that we put out there that I committed to. I think each and every one of you all have heard that I was committing to a schedule, working with Councilman Brannigan. He can come up here, he can give you why we're using this schedule first, as we're working through soccer that's getting ready to start, and some other programs that are getting ready to start, and then maybe it'll answer some of y'all's questions.
Thank you, Mayor. As you guys know, I'm in a different role now, excuse me. As of about a month ago, about 2 weeks ago, we started the process to get an employee, a part-time employee in place that can be there at the track, monitor that everything's going fine. Everything in recreation or anything else we do is a series of adjustments, whether it's rainouts for baseball, times the track is open. We have to start somewhere. 2 weeks ago, it was closed. So now we have 3 opportunities a week that it is open. That's for the next few weeks for sure. We have 2 different groups that are going to be playing home soccer games at Bertolino Stadium on Saturday nights. That will not affect the Saturday morning time slot for anyone to walk. However, the reason for the staggered times right now during the week is so that we can get our crews in there at the times they're already at work to work on those fields, whether it's lining it, cutting the grass, whatever they need to do. So we're going to stagger that temporarily and adjust as we need to once this soccer thing is over. But we have 2 groups, so we'll have 2 home games on Saturday nights in June, another 2 in July, and then our Kenner Recreation Soccer is about to expand into a young adult group, which is 16 through 20 years old. So that is going to allow us to bring in more events for that age group, which we have never had before. Mr. Raphael Sadi is assisting me with that. And we're going to need larger fields, obviously, for older kids. So the younger kids would remain at Green Lawn. But this is going to be a series of adjustments, and we're going to need to have people participate and get out there and walk, and then as more and more people are wanting to do that, we'll have to get back together and add times or add days and make sure that coordinates with our crews, because we are limited on the number of people we have in the crews, and we're limited at the hours that they actually are at work. So when we are able to have those people work on that field for the upcoming games, we need to do so. It's definitely what we're running into right now is with summer weather. In order to prepare a field for a Saturday, we have to start early in the week, because if we end up with a couple of days of rain, they may have to come back and redo some things towards the end of the week. So I know for me and the administration, we're wanting to adjust as much as needed, but we need to have folks now come on out. Everyone said they wanted to use it. Come on out, come use the track. There's a gentleman there that you can speak with now if you need anything, and we will adjust as needed as this summer progresses.
So my commitment was to get the part-time employee along with Councilman Brannigan, who supported the part-time employee. I know you're going to have some comments, but we supported that together. That's important. That's the first step. Mr. Charles was out there today. The part-time employee was out there. 3 or 4 people used the track. I'm hearing that there was no issues. They were very happy with it. That is good. I don't see how the Musbernalino track is unique. It's not unique because we had this issue throughout the city of Kenner, and y'all should know that. I think some of you all do know that we have things that are tied up by schools. Mr. Pitfield is going to give an example that I'm working with, and he's working with right now, our school board member, St. Anthony, with a gym, I believe in District 5, that we're having to close at certain times for the school. This track is no different. We have to close it for programs. We have to open it when it's not being used for programs. Why is the track different? I don't know. I get politics, but it's not any different for the use of the people. So if y'all could bear with us as we work through this, we're going to get to a better schedule. This is the initial schedule as we're working with soccer programs. Mr. Pitfield, could you please explain what's going on that, I don't know, y'all may know, Brian, you may know this, in, I think it's Wentwood?
Yeah, so as the mayor said, and as Mr. Alon said as well, this is a very fluid situation. We've been working on this for weeks now. You know, we're talking about the opening of the track. We're also working on the opening of the gymnasiums during the summer for free play for the kids in the city as well. We were notified on Tuesday that the Jefferson Parish School Board has extended a enrichment style program called Summer Bridge that is now taking the Wentwood gym out of commission. So again, as we've all said up here, this is very fluid. We've had to change that scheduling that we're doing. We're hoping to release something pretty soon, barring anybody else throw any curveballs back at us. But we're working on not just the gym, we're working on every single facility. And as I've mentioned several meetings ago, we have over 26 facilities in the city of Kenner for recreation. We're only talking about one, but we're working on 26.
Thank you, Mr. Pitfield. Mr. Brannigan?
Yes, I'm glad to see that the track is being opened. As everyone knows, the last 2 or 3 council meetings, I want the thing open from sun up to sundown. But we also have to accommodate the schools that rent the track from us for track meets and track practice. We have to take the outside events that are using that field. And, you know, when maintenance is being done on the grass, we don't need someone walking on the track and a lawnmower shoot a rock at them and knock them out. I think that once we look at this schedule for a couple of weeks and see how many people are using this track, it's going to dictate how much more time we need. I hope 1 million people go and walk on this track. But it's a situation where we're starting with this, and like I said, I want it open all the time, but it's a start, okay? If you want to call me with hours or whatever that you would like to see it open, I will take those calls, okay? Like I take all of the other calls and I do respond. But, you know, it's a start, and it's a situation where my goal is to have it open as much as we can have it open to accommodate my constituents and anybody else. I don't care if you're from Timbuktu, Hawaii. If you want to walk on this track, come walk on the track. But that's my feelings on it. I'm happy that we are at this point and we are starting something. I do hope that a lot of people use it and we are forced to open up even more.
Thank you, Councilman. So I have listened to Mr. Charles, the mayor, Councilman Brannigan, Ms. Stacy, Mr. Al about the Bus Bertolino Park, and since we are specifically talking about that, Mr. Pitfield brought in the overall recreation. I just totally disagree with the mayor. I disagree with Councilman Brannigan. I disagree with Mr. Charles to say that the park, the schedule that's in place is a fair schedule. It is a good schedule. I disagree with that. We have been a year with the pandemic in our homes. It's been a year that we've had to deal with social and medical and mental challenges that we have. And the only way to come out of that is to get outside, to start doing things that we're used to. There's no reason why that park cannot be open on more days with a wider schedule. There's nothing, even though you may say that you're cutting the grass. Well, if someone's cutting the grass, then don't let them walk on a track until you cut the grass. That's going to be a problem. If they're going to be scheduled events from the city, well, then maybe we may not be able to do it depending on what's going on. Adjust that. But to shut it down without any schedules that in place right now today, and I don't believe we have anything, and to continue to wait until we find some is not the way to go. It is not what the people in the city want. It's not. We need to put something in place. So while I can appreciate the mayor's schedule, I have submitted an amendment that I feel is better. I believe Councilman Brannigan said that, well, we use this schedule and then we assess the number of people. Well, it has to be open long enough to get a fair assessment. You don't get an assessment, you don't get posed by doing 3 people. The more people you get, the better your analysis will be. The more hours it's open, the better your analysis is going to be. It's just simple as that. So, Madam Clerk, if you can read my amendment, please.
Sure, I'll be glad to. We will be adding an additional whereas to the end that will read, whereas the hours of operation of the City of Kenner Most Bartolino track field to be open to the public during the following hours. Days, Monday through Friday, the times will be 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, the time will be 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Days and times are subject to change that conflict with the City of Kenner's scheduled events and programs without notice.
Thank you. So, in my opinion, that is a fair for the people in the city. It is fair for the workers to be able to work around that. It is fair as we add additional programs to the city. We shouldn't wait until something happens. We should be proactive, not wait around. That is just what I believe. Now, everybody may have something to say or disagree. That's their opinion. But my opinion is based on my amendment. And, Madam Clerk, there's a second part of it, because obviously there are concerns that I take seriously, too, for safety, about other things. And if you can read that, that's something we can do to address ensuring safety, ensuring people don't tear the track up doing unlawful and vandalism. Could you read that, Madam Clerk?
Sure, there will be another whereas that will state, to put up cameras on the track/park for security, add computer in the recreation office to monitor the track, signage for hours of operation and rules, and add signage with contact numbers to park fencing to report park vandalism and contact the Kenner Police Department.
So, nothing is perfect, but we have to do something. We have to be proactive, in my opinion. And these are the actions I believe we should take to bring the city, and this may not be a lot to some people, but it is a part that I believe where we start for this. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll and a second by Councilmember Wilmot on the amendment as stated, as read by the clerk. Any further discussion on Councilman Carroll's amendment? Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you. I'd just like to say it's well done. It looks like it addresses the needs of the people, and it also addresses the needs of the city, so there's no conflicts. I like it. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment that's on the floor? Councilman Brennan?
Charles, I'm assuming you've seen the amendment?
I have not.
I'm just asking, I mean, do we have people that would be available to, did you hear the hours that are proposed?
We would not. The current gentleman that's there, that was started today, is limited to 17 hours a week. No, sir. We're down to 12 people who are operating things around every park citywide. We struggle almost on a daily basis trying to find someone to cover certain events, whether it's at night or on a Saturday night. And I don't have anyone else at the moment to add to that list.
When the park's open, somebody's there physically, usually.
Yes, when the park is open, yes, sir.
Now, we don't unlock the gym and nobody's in there or something.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Just so, for instance, a gym, we don't go unlock a gym, somebody's in there, some supervisor or employees there to oversee the facility.
Typically, the supervisor is going to unlock the gym only if it's being used.
No, I mean, it's not like we go unlock buildings and nobody's there.
Correct.
It would be the same with this park. We wouldn't just open it and nobody would be there for however many hours with no supervision. The public?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Wilmot?
While you're on that line of questioning, I wanted to ask you, Charles, you have tot lots. Are they unlocked and do they supervised? Do you have somebody sit there the whole time that they're open?
To my knowledge, I don't know if they're locked yet or not. Again, I'm in the first few weeks. I don't have that answer. Maybe Mr. Pitfield might be able to help with that answer.
No, unfortunately, they're not locked, and we're constantly replacing equipment. As you've seen over the past, I would say 10 or 12 months, we probably spent over $120,000 on equipment to replace. So, yeah, no, the tot lots in the neighborhoods are play structures, more open fields for people and families to kind of get some green space. But, yeah, we have tremendous problems in those issues already.
But even as far as the tot lot's concerned, your intent is not to have an employee there monitor the tot lot while kids are playing, correct?
No, those are, the tot lots are more for family play. The playground, such as Mus Bertolino, is for athletic play.
So they're just open to allow people go and use them as they need to. And so we have equipment there on those lots that's fairly expensive, as you just pointed out. And
Yeah,
it's gonna be
nowhere near the price of, though, at the playground.
Right, but Mus Bertolino, it's the same thing. We're allowing the public to come in and use it. We don't have to have it monitored. But at the same time, what the amendment does, it proposes that there's going to be camera out there, and the camera will be monitored, I guess, back at recreation.
And I don't have the funding for the cameras. Are you proposing funding as well?
Funding for what?
The camera system.
Well, the camera system is one thing, but as far as having an employee out there, I don't know that we even need that.
Again,
That's what I'm suggesting.
we can agree to disagree. We're the ones that are out there every day and seeing the issues. We're trying to tell you what our best efforts are to maintain the quality of the playgrounds and the structures that we have in place.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I do disagree, though. Thank you.
So, Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Council President. I just have a couple of clarification questions. Does Mus Bertolino have a head playground supervisor at Mus Bertolino that's there all the
Yes.
time? Is it a full-time position or is it a part-time position?
To my knowledge, it's part-time.
There's a gym supervisor that has to be there for the school that's attached. All of the schools which use Mus Bertolino, Gladys, and Wentwood have a full-time employee because of the school use.
Okay, and do they only work in the summer?
They work they work year-round, but as I mentioned I believe at the last budget hearing when this came up, a lot of those employees work with us and they take their leave during the summer. So we have a lot of leave that goes on, as well as some of those employees, you're talking about Mus Bertolino and a gymnasium, we're talking about opening that up for free play. That's what we hear a lot is we want the gyms open because it's 130 degrees outside. We want the kids off the street and in the gym. We're trying to give whatever what we're hearing from. So we're working right now to try to open the gyms as well.
Okay, so there's not anyone there at the playgrounds, so the playground supervisors aren't there all the time, so they're not available to do any monitoring. But so if there's a need for the constant monitoring, this amendment provides for some type of oversight and monitoring at that time. I mean, I guess that's my understanding, right? Councilman?
Say it again?
This amendment putting cameras or putting type of computers so we can monitor that would allow for that. And that's just suggestions, obviously, it's not, you don't have to do it tomorrow, correct?
No, but that is added safety.
Correct.
Not only for the track, but for the park itself.
Okay, and I just want to comment and say that I think that it is very important that all Kenner citizens have access to this, to our facilities. I understand that there's vandalism and I understand that there's disrespect for some facilities. You shouldn't, in my opinion, you can't punish the entire city for the acts of a few, right? We are our brother's keeper. In order for this to work, we obviously have to be there. We have to work together. But if it's not open, and I concur, if it's not open with full availability, we're not going to be able to see what the demand is. If we open this during the summer in July and it's 100 degrees outside, I highly doubt that there's going to be a mob of people walking down, at 7 or at 12 noon. But at different times, I think that, this is us trying to work together to say that we want, this is a priority, we want this to happen. And I agree that something needs to be done. And I applaud the administration for moving in that direction, but I agree that more needs to be done.
So Mr. Charles, Mayor Zahn?
Okay. Answer a few questions if you don't mind. And we're going to work through this, I think. Tot lot equipment costs about $40,000. Still an expense. This track costs $175,000. Not everything in the city of Kenner is locked, okay? Tot lots don't get locked. Councilman Brannigan and I are working right now with a donor with a piece of equipment that's not going to be $40,000. That's probably going to have a lock on it at a certain time. I will commit to this, and I think Councilman, you want to ask the question?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I will commit to this. Give me 3 weeks, 28 days, I'm sorry, for the budget amendment. We're in the middle of a budget, right? So amendments need to come back. I will offer an amendment to this council from me, looking for 2 more part-time employees, which will keep the track open basically 51 hours a week. We'll work with you all to figure out what hours are better for that, and I think that's starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. Cameras, that's great. But cameras break. This part-time employees probably won't break. We'll be able to put the part-time employees out there to watch our equipment. You have John Curtis Christian School with equipment on the track. Who's going to pay for that if it gets messed up if there's not a supervisor? I'm not, but somebody's going to. I'm not asking for this. I'm compromising with you. So if you can give me, not 3 weeks, because I don't think budget amendments are going to take a little bit, I will come back with an amendment to offer to this council to see if you all want to go along with 2 more part-time employees. Now look, I got to go find the funding, but you're asking me to basically do that. You're either asking me to buy cameras, which could break, and still, the cameras aren't going to tell somebody to stop jumping on equipment that's out there. So who's going to pay for that? The council? I don't think so. Somebody's going to pay for it, or we're going to get sued. We have Kenner Discovery that's out there. We have too many things going on out there now. This is not the track 2 years ago. This is a new track. We're telling our constituents to move out of Wentwood Gym so that the Jefferson Parish School can come in. I know it's not on the subject, but it's related to the subject. I don't hear that being a problem in District 5. Unless you have a problem with it, then we got to address that. But we want to tell certain schools you can't use it, but we don't want to tell other schools you can't use the Wentwood Gym. So I'm willing to work with Councilman Brannigan, since it's his district, and get through this, which is what I've been doing since day one. I still don't get why it's like the Zahn administration's not working with the track. We've committed to anything that we have said. I've even gone a little bit further. I would ask that y'all defer this and come back in the future with me with my budget amendment, and we'll figure it out.
So Mayor Ron, I'd like to comment on, first your last comment, that it is his district. Yeah, it is located in his district. It is all of our district, because I have people in District 1 that use Mus Bertolino Playground, the track, the gym. So why it is in his district, it's for everybody in the city of Kenner, not just one section of the city. 2, you ask who's going to pay for it. The same people that pay for the air conditioning when they break, the same people that pay for trucks when they break, that's where the money comes from. When the air conditioner break or trucks break, the money comes from where to fix it?
Capital.
So if there's a camera that we don't have yet and it breaks, that's where it would come from, in my opinion, to pay for it, to fix it. Just like everything in the city, it is the city's money, just like the money was spent from the city to repair the park, the monies to repair parts are paid for the same way. To say that we shouldn't do it because someone's going to be vandalizing, I think is not fair to the citizens who do not vandalize. To say, well, you can't do it because other people are doing this. There's going to always be problems. That is the nature of people to do bad things. It is not the nature for us not to do things. Even the police department. We have a police department because people do bad things. Even though they know we have a police department, bad things happen. So all I'm saying is, with your proposal for 51 hours, does that equate to 7 hours for 7 days? If I divide 7 by 51 hours, is that
I got to put a pen and pencil to it. Look, I'm trying to compromise with you. I don't know what we're going, well,
I'm gonna ask the
we have
math.
to, wait, again, we have to see what works with
But
the
I'm
schedule.
just asking, you're agreeing to 51 hours, does that equate to 7 hours per day for 7 days?
Well, 7 times 7 is 49, so I guess it does.
What, you say you guess it does, so we will
Well, no.
have, when we come back, we will have something.
Well, I'm asking for 28 days to come back with a budget amendment.
I know, but you're also saying we're gonna have something for 51 hours for the city.
Right.
Which will equate to 7 hours per day.
Correct.
It's actually a little bit more, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
well, yeah, at least.
I mean, it's 2
7
hours
hours.
more on top of that.
Yeah, if you're saying.
Okay, let me make this easy. What do you want?
Well,
I'm
read
giving you
my- I read
51
my-
hours, and now you want 49. So what do you
No,
want?
Mayor, please don't try to confuse people or say.
I'm not. I'm
whatever.
confused because I don't know
Well, I'm
what
saying,
you're asking
I said
for.
it is a minimal of 7 hours per day based on your 51.
It's
I'm
a
not
little bit
talking-
more.
I'm not talking
mean-
exact numbers. I'm not
Right.
talking
Look,
exact
do you,
numbers.
Do you not want it open more on the weekends instead of during the week?
I wanted to open what I first proposed, but if you're saying 51 hours, as long as it will
I'd
be
like to
open-
give the people of Kenner more time on the weekends, and this is a mayoral decision, not a council decision.
Well-
I'm going to come back with a budget amendment, the parks and
So you're
everything.
saying we're wasting our time asking about this because you
I don't,
disagree with it?
it sounds like 51 reasons you're not wasting your time. I'm giving you 51 hours. So
And
you're
I'm
not wasting your
saying
time.
if-
You've
if
gotten
it-
more
if
out of me than what you had
I
yesterday.
will support you if you're going to come back 7 hours per day for 7 days.
I would like to do what I probably will do, working with Councilman Brannigan, because I think more District 4 people use it than District 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 5. However, we will do whatever we can work with, like I've been doing, to give 51 hours and probably lean more toward the weekends. I think that's when your families are out there. Now, that's subject to change if on the weekends we have a soccer program. Again, it's 51 reasons to go ahead and say, let me defer this and work on this and move toward the future, and let's get to the next item.
We don't have to rush to the next item. We all can be here as long as it takes for us to get through this.
Well,
so I'm saying, let's not rush.
Tell me when we're not through this.
Let's
then.
not rush
Councilman
through
Brannigan,
it.
are we through this?
Am I talking, Mayor? I'm talking now. Let's not rush through it just to get to the next item, because we are all paid to be here as long as it takes to be here.
You got 2 hours more than what you asked for.
So I'm saying let's not rush through it for that. So let's understand we're not in a hurry. We want to get the best that we can do for the citizens. If you are putting us on a time clock, well then that's not the best thing to do. I am saying I am willing to accept. Let me finish. I am willing to accept the 51 hours. Once you come back, we'll say what it's going to be. I'm willing to accept that, to defer it, to get that. Yes.
I think we're agreeing, Councilman Carroll, like we usually do.
I hope we are. Sometimes it takes a long time to get there. So I am favorable to defer it for how many days you think?
Well, I need 28 days for a budget amendment, and I got to go find. Maybe they will be working this weekend.
I don't want to tie in. I don't want to tie in a budget amendment because now you can come back and say, well, we don't have the money because we don't have. Mr. Charles, are the gyms open?
None of the gyms are open.
So those employees, do they go to the gym?
Does who go to the gym?
Does the gym employees, supervisors go to the gym now? Is
Yes.
it open and do they go there?
If it's open, they are there,
So
yes.
they're not in the gym, they're just there.
They are on location, yes.
So couldn't those people at Bertolino be out on the park, watching the park, if he's not in the gym?
Councilman Carroll, we have baseball and softball going on currently. Those people are currently working out in the fields when that's happening in the evening time, when they're there.
Okay, but Mr. Pitfield, what I'm saying is, I don't want to tie in a budget amendment to something to come back and say, well, we don't have the money. Because I don't think that's an answer to
I can tell you, I don't have the money currently in the recreation budget.
Because Buddy Lawson, Lincoln Manor, and Susan Park, there are no people go out there and use that field. Nobody's watching them. It is an honor system for the people that go out there and the neighbors to watch to see what happened. It should be no different than West Bertolino, in my opinion. You know, our recreation department has been decimated, has been on dormant for a year. So we need to start getting things going, and in my opinion, that's the start. I will agree to the mayor. I think we're agreeing to defer this for 28 days or whatever, to come back with a proposal from him, and then we will revisit what his proposal is. So I'm open to that. Any council members having a...
Mr. Chairman, if I could get a point of clarification, please. On the floor, we have a motion and a second to amend the item. Would you like to remove your amendment?
I'd like to hear from the council members first.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
We do not have the money right now because
Okay.
all the money has been presented in the budget. So therefore, I have to go back and I have to present a budget amendment to you all to get the money to give 2 more part-time employees. So yes, we are agreeing.
I understand that.
No, but I just want
understand
the public to understand what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
agreeing to do a budget amendment proposed by me because of what we're discussing about the track.
I understand about
Okay.
the budget. I understand.
We good.
that. So what I understand also, even before the budget, even if we approve this, I still think the park should be open additional hours. So I just want to be clear about that.
I got you.
Okay. So Councilman Brannigan?
Okay. What I think we should do is take the plan that's in place now, okay? Use that until we can get the other 34 hours. And everyone has to understand that we have 51 hours set aside in a week. I would think that the park is less used on the weekends for high schools and outside events other than a Saturday night, if you have a soccer game at night. And we should defer this, give him time to get to 51 hours, and 51 hours is 7 and a quarter hours a day. But I think that we should move more to the weekend, and if we have to adjust the schedule during the day to fit what when the park is rented, and Charles will have to keep track that. I mean, I think that's the way we need to go with it.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you. And I appreciate that, Mayor, and I know you're saying that apparently what I'm hearing is you want to have somebody there, you want to have it staffed. So that's where the budget amendment comes in, and you would need to have them be there on site. So that, and I appreciate that. That's right. Very helpful.
Exactly.
And I just add this in because I think it's important to have consistent hours. That way people who do exercise and utilize the park, they have, and I know you're going to have conflicts here and there, but trying, if you will, to keep the hours as consistent as possible. So those who do utilize it for that purpose, they come, say like they come at 9 o'clock in the morning to go run or 6 o'clock in the evening, they have their schedules and say, oh gee, well now it's closed and there's no events going on. So I just ask that you keep the hours consistent.
Absolutely.
Thank
And look, give me these 3 or 4 weeks to see. Charles will come back, Chad will come back and tell me where it's working, where it's not. Maybe we'll even adjust those hours within the next few weeks. We don't know. It's a test. George and I have talked about this numerous times.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the mayor knows how I want the track open, obviously. And I think that if we do this, you know, it's open now, whatever the hours are, and we have that one person, we'll get this thing worked out, and let's see how the 51 hours a week works. You know, it may come back, they've got 1 million people walking out there. Are you okay with that?
I'll close when I...
Okay.
On that.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Hayes.
I do have a suggestion. Maybe we can use the $177,000 for one position to hire a couple of part-time people that's probably more meaningful to our citizens than a position I don't think we need.
Yeah, well, you know, that is a good suggestion, but there's a bunch of salaries that we could look at maybe and have some of their opinion. So let's not go there.
You know, we don't have a loss fund for too many lawsuits. I think we need people at these playgrounds. If something happens, we're going to get sued big time.
And that's another area we don't want to go into. We don't want to start talking about that either, for sure. Councilwoman McKinney.
Oh, actually,
You did?
I didn't need anything.
Okay, so, Councilman Brennan, did you have? Okay, so I. So I am before we change or adapt or readjust, what the mayor's saying is he's going to go back 28 days, look at it, 51 hours, come back with a schedule. What I'm saying is I am agreeable to that, to defer it. But what else I'm saying is I am not tying my decision to being able to find money. I am not tying my decision to limiting the park, because it should not be limited. At the end of the day, that will be my position, that the park should be open additionally for 7 days. So, but I will compromise and listen to what you have, and listen to it. It may be great. I don't know, but I just wanted to be clear with that. That's all. That's what I wanted to say. So we have someone to speak on the amendment, Madam Clerk. Ms. Stacy.
Thank you, Councilman Carroll, for allowing me to speak on the amendment. I am totally against deferring this amendment. Ladies and gentlemen of the public, we have just lost. People have caved tonight. Just like I said at the last meeting, it's always something else. Now it's 28 more days, and maybe I'll come back, maybe I can find the money, maybe this, maybe that, nothing concrete. Let's have a test. We'll make it the worst possible hours imaginable where nobody can go who works. And let's see how many people go there, and enough people go there. Then we'll maybe think about opening it for 7 hours a day, maybe when people can go, but we don't know. What if, is the 7 hours going to be for the people in the morning who can go before work? Is it going to be in the afternoon when the sun's down? How are we going to split this? There is nothing concrete here. Councilman Carroll's amendment was very concrete. I have 7 people up here who all want that park open, and there's only been 3 people tonight who have spoken up. And now I think they're changing their mind, and I hope they don't. But Miguez Park is wide open and has been for 50 years. Nothing has happened there. The tot lots are open, and we're not even talking about a playground. We're talking about a walking track that adults use. And if John Curtis has their equipment there where, the mayor conveniently went to high school, why is that our concern? They need to put it away if they don't want anything to happen to it. Why are we suddenly responsible for this? Like Councilman Carroll said, things happen in the city, we take care of it. District 4 put up $75,000 for this money. We thought we were going to be able to walk on that track. Why does the mayor constantly go to my councilman for backup? I don't ever see him, like a Councilwoman McKinney, can you back me up here? I don't see him going to Councilman Wilmot. Every time he brings up something that's wrong, he needs backup, he goes to my council person. And I'm sick of this, because I know how y'all all feel about that track. Councilman Councilman Brannigan wants it open. But you guys are going to defer this for 28 days to maybe find money in the budget for people. We don't even need somebody there. Just post a sign. If you have an issue, here's the phone number to call. Y'all are going to seriously kick this can down the road again? He already said we don't have any money in the budget. So none of this makes sense. None of it. Councilman Hayes, you and I don't always agree on a lot of things.
30 seconds,
I
Ms.
agree with
Stacy.
you, what you said tonight wholeheartedly. I know I'm not taking your comments out of anything. I'm just saying I agreed with you on that. I'm not taking it out of context or anything, but you were right.
Look, Mr. Chairman.
Are you
We all-
finished?
Mr. Chairman.
Could you hold on? I'm asking, Ms. Stacy, are you done? Because if you're
Well, I
done.
can reserve my last 20 seconds if,
No, I'd rather you finish your last 20
Okay.
seconds, and then
Okay.
we'll let
okay,
Councilman
well, I
Hayes.
guess, okay,
I will
so,
donate out of my
Councilman,
capital account.
Councilman,
No, this-
point of
what
order.
she's saying-
Point
what
of
she's-
order, Councilman, point of order. Ms. Stacy, please finish your
I have
time.
20 seconds, Councilman Hayes, and then I'll be done. And I do want to hear greatly what you have to say. I'm fine if you want to speak, but the rules are the rules, so
She's right. Let's get this thing done tonight.
please.
I'll donate.
Councilman Hayes, point of order. Let Ms. Stacy finish her time, and then you can speak as long as you want to. So-
Okay, my last statement would be, please come back to where y'all were when we started this meeting with the resolve that you had to open this playground. And if it's a hard decision for you to make, because in your heart you want to do something, but it's a difficult decision, I say stand up, do what's right, and let the chips fall where they may. Do it.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. Councilman Hayes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
why don't we just all donate something out of our own budgetary account to make this happen? We're talking about a $73 million budget. Come on, man, we're talking about children, this is summertime, you know. We need to make this happen tonight. Don't put it off again. Find out what we need to do and let's do it. How much do we need out of each individual's capital expense account? Transfer the money.
Fantastic idea, and I wholeheartedly support that. Y'all have to do it.
Amen.
Here's the issue. You have capital accounts, so you'd have to do something in first reading to change the ordinance of your capital accounts. I've been here, guys. You've been there. Change the ordinance, first reading, takes just as long to do so as the 28 days, basically. So either way, we can make a commitment tonight, y'all can make a commitment tonight, but it doesn't happen tomorrow. Plus, I just hired a part-time person, so we have to hire 2 more part-time people. Maybe if y'all all funded, we hire 3 part-time people.
Amen.
So 3 more.
Let's
So you
just
have
make the
4
commitment
You
tonight,
get more
Mayor.
hours out of that. If y'all make the commitment tonight and George comes back with a budget, I'm sorry, legal, correct me if I'm wrong, comes back with a first reading to change capital accounts into operating for a certain amount of money, which is what you're proposing, y'all both offer that, let's get it over with. There's a commitment, but I'm sorry, it's still the law. It takes 28 days.
That's fine, but at least we
I
make a
mean-
decision tonight and everybody knows X days going forward, it's going to happen.
Councilman Hayes, I'm 100% with you, but we have to follow the law.
All right, let's
So
do it.
there's some people in the public that's not going to understand that. So all of you all have to commit and let the public know we got to follow the law.
Yeah, we definitely have to follow the law.
Okay,
And-
but
and-
it's always the administration's fault that it's not happening.
Well, I hope people don't always
So you
say
committed
that.
to put district funds in?
I am committed, once the numbers are put together, before we have to vote at the next time, if you can put that together,
I'll get it.
I am committed to support that. I just want to know what that, I never spend my money without knowing what it is before. So I am committed to supporting it, but I want to know what those, like all of us want to know.
So
what
this
those
is
numbers
like the discussion earlier, just so I know what we're looking for. We're looking for 3 more part-time people on top of the 1 part-time person, which is going to give y'all probably unlimited play, unless it's closed for an event.
Of course.
Okay.
Any
all right.
scheduled.
All right, so y'all want
city
that
of-
divided 7 ways or 5?
Well, the 2 at large are,
You got money enough to do it? I mean,
I don't know.
okay, I'll give it to you both ways, 5 ways and 7 ways.
okay,
Is that all right?
that's
All
perfect.
right, we'll get that to you. They got to be working this weekend.
Okay.
That's your fault.
Guys, well, I'll take this, that's for sure. Thank you, Councilman Hayes, good idea. Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes, so clarification. So, okay, so as an at-large, I don't have an exorbitant amount of money left over, but I do think that cameras are a capital expense. So can we, instead of having an operating expense that we could, use, can we actually use our capital dollars for cameras that will do that monitoring and then relieve the cost of benefits or part-time and that are future operating costs? That's my question.
Cameras on top of the 3 more people?
Well,
Well, who's going to
To
monitor?
supplement them.
Who's going to monitor the cameras on the weekend? Or
you could
actually
put it on
during the
your
day. I'm sorry. Well, if you want to
My
do that,
ring does, I can talk to
are you offering to do that?
yeah, all the time.
I mean, because that's like what we need. I mean,
I think, Mayor, if you can bring that back to us.
let me
to look
do
at
5
it.
and 7.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman.
Exactly.
Councilman Brannigan?
Councilman Brannigan?
Well, I agree with Councilman Hayes, and if we could, get 3 more people or 2 more, make the hours work, then I agree with Councilman Hayes.
Thank you. I think it may have taken us a little while to get there, but I think we're at a good spot right now. So, Madam Clerk, as far from the administrative side, we have to adjust.
Yes, sir. I have an amendment on the floor right now, motion by you, seconded by Wilmot, as the clerk read into the record. Would you like to remove your amendment and your motion and second?
Yes.
For the amendment?
To put the, yes.
Okay, so it's so removed. Do I have a motion And a second to defer for one meeting.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Brannigan to defer for one meeting.
Any discussion on deferral?
Mayor Zahn,
One meeting does not give me 28 days.
2 meetings.
Okay, thank you.
2 meetings. Thank you, Mayor. 2 meetings, Madam Clerk.
2 meetings.
3-week break, I still don't think I have
Right.
enough time. That's right, it's gonna take a little bit longer.
Well,
Just,
it's going to take a little bit longer.
y'all understand where we have to be.
Exactly. We
Okay,
want to see it,
all right,
right.
all right.
So it is 2 meetings. It will be 2 meetings.
The problem, right, because the problem is you have a 3-week break this time.
Right. We understand, but it's still 2 meetings.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Question.
Councilman Wilmot?
No, you cannot.
Mayor, I had a question. As far as between now and then, when the 28 days, during that period of time, how is the track going to be open according to that
Well,
schedule you
the
released
schedule we
earlier?
have right now, but give me at least a week to see how that works, and then we'll come back and maybe alternate the hours.
Okay.
I mean,
It will be opened up for a short period of.
oh, it's going to
short
stay
hours.
with our part-time employees. I'm not taking that away because we're doing something different.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah,
Just making
no.
it clear. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
No problem.
Right, I want to make
Yeah.
sure. Thank you.
Okay, I think Councilman Hayes? Yes, sir.
I get, I think, $36,000 a year for the antennas on the treasure chest. I want to use that for this. That'll go.
We appreciate that, so
I just want to make, we just need to make this happen.
I'll make it
As far as these people understand what they can plan on.
Again, you have a commitment from me. We're going to make this happen, but dedicated to 3. So we'll make it happen the other way.
Yeah. You're going to give us 5 and 7, both numbers. Right.
You got some District 1 accounts like that. I don't know if we want to change that too. Okay.
I do, yes. I'm not committing anything right now until I see the number, right. So, listen, guys, I know you may think sometime that, we may be at each other or back and forth, but this is the way government works, I believe, because there's nothing personal between me and Councilman Hayes or the mayor. It's just that this is where we get sometimes, and we have to do this to be able to, and I think where we are now is better. I know Ms. Stacy, she has her opinion about certain things, and I feel her empathy for it. But at the end of the day, I think we are in a good spot. It's going to take a little longer, but I think I'd rather have it longer and be continuous than to take the chance of not having something that we feel is good for the city. So I appreciate everybody's support and comments, administration, council, and all. All right, Madam Clerk, where are we?
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan on a 2-meeting deferral.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Hayes? Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 for a 2-meeting deferral. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,840, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from John Renaudin Incorporated, doing business as Be Creative, to furnish and install vehicle decals for the city of Kenner in accordance with sealed bid number 21-6596, and an amount not to exceed $70,000 annually for the Department of Fleet Management.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Segura to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Segura.
Yay.
Hayes. Brannigan.
Yes.
Brennan. Yes. McKinney.
Yes.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,841. An ordinance accepting the only responsive bid received from LeBlanc Ontario Company Incorporated to remove, furnish, and install fuel pumps in accordance with letter bid number 21-1979, and an amount not to exceed $39,080 for the Department of Fleet Management.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilmember Brannigan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Hayes.
Yay.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Brennan. Yes. McKinney.
Yes.
Wilmot.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,842. An ordinance ratifying the emergency purchase of 33 Fire Pro Seek thermal imaging cameras from Municipal Equipment Services in the amount of $17,621.67 for the Kenner Fire Department.
Motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes? Yay. Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,843. An ordinance ratifying the emergency demolition of 1601 Reverend Richard Wilson Drive in the amount of $149,000 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Carroll to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilmember Brannigan?
Yes.
I had a question.
Madam Clerk, Councilman Wilmot had a question.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yeah, I would like the administration to explain this one for me, please. We on the demolition.
Okay.
15D.
I'm going to let Ms. Foshee take that, who has been working very closely with the demo company.
Okay, what part of it, I think we've talked about the fact that the building burned. We have 2 reports that it's in immediate danger of collapse. We're using Demo Diva, who is a historic deconstruction specialist. She is palletizing the bricks as best she can. And
I guess the big thing I'm interested in is the facade. Is it salvageable?
yeah, the bricks are all of the salvageable bricks are going to be salvaged and they're going to be palletized. The very first time that we came to the decision to demolish, and Demo Diva was prepared to extract each of the cast concrete elements. None of that's marble, it's all cast concrete. And she was going to cut all those pieces out and crane them away. And we were approached by various and sundry folks in the community who had ideas on how to save the building, and so we stopped. Second time we got ready to do it, a year and a half later, when none of those projects came through, it was too late to salvage those cast concrete because they'd been exposed to the elements and had begun to crack. However, we did get a 3D model of it using a drone. So every one of those components, again, reminder, they're concrete. We have a 3D design of every one of them. So any of those that we want to replace, we can rebuild it, we can do it cheaper than by trying to protect it. But at that point, the bricks were 100% salvageable. Stopped us again, we had other people come and say they could save it, it needed to be saved, and then none of those people came through. Third time, now many of the bricks are not going to be salvageable because the inside unglazed face has been exposed to the elements for 3 years. However, any of them that are salvageable are being salvaged and palletized, and then those bricks will actually be placed in storage while we identify what to do with them. Many people, a number of people have come to us about ideas like selling the bricks, imprinting names on them, using them as some part of a reminder or a memorial for that particular location. So we are at this point just going to secure them while we go through whatever ideas that we can come up with in terms of how to, the reminder for that.
Just, I guess, curiosity, is there any large sections that are going to be stored, or is it going to all be just individual bricks?
It will be individual bricks.
Okay, so the facade is not intact.
The facade is not intact.
And that's currently, it's not intact.
Currently, it's not intact. There was an element of the capacity to be able to extract some portions of the facade the first time we went in. And each time we've done it, we've had to have Demo Diva come back out, talk about the structural integrity, and identify what can and cannot be done. So our best shot was the very first time we went at it. But when people come and say they can save your building, and they have businesses that want to come, you don't want to just blow them off because you're trying to save pieces of concrete. So hindsight being 20/20, we should have gone forward the very first time, and we should have gone forward the second time, and now this is the third time. So we're going forward, and she's going to save everything she possibly can.
But you do have the image that we know.
Absolutely, and it's fascinating if you want to see it because it's like a CAD drawing. It's a 3D. We called the airport. They gave us a time when they could stop flights, literally for some like 30 minutes, so we could do all this, go up in the air. a complete 3D model of the building. So we could rebuild that building to scale with this if we wanted to. It's fascinating. But the purpose of it really was not so much the whole building. The building, so for scale later if you want to do a drawing or something, but mainly for those cast concrete elements. There's some squares up close to the top. If you're familiar with the building, they have almost like flower shapes in them, okay, and they're squares. So those, as well as where it says Kenner High School, there's columns on either side of the door. There's a couple other pieces across the top. Most of those are way beyond the capacity to save them, but they can all be recast. So that's the good news.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Foshee. Any more questions, comments?
We did, Councilman?
Oh, Mayor Zine.
We did meet with, the group of residents that attended the school, and they understand, and we have committed to them to save as much as we can, but there may have to be some reproduction. But if we ever get to reconstruct a smaller version of it somewhere, like a facade.
And I know that's a delicate issue, so
Right.
thank you.
It's going to make everybody happy.
Good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And listen, I want to thank for the support. As someone, the only one on the council that lives a block away from it, we, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the citizens of South Kenner, we understand the historic value of Kenner Junior High School. We understand about the empathy that people have for sacred buildings, just like I had for the Washington Elementary School. It's the same thing. So we are respectful of that, but considering the fact that now it is an eyesore, it is a safety concern, the grass is out of control, the raccoons have taken over it and everything else, the best thing to do is to, to put it to rest, I guess, to say, for lack of a better word, like things happen to some animals. When they reach their term, that is the best thing to do, because you don't want to look at it in this state right now and try to remember what it used to be. So I would appreciate everybody's support on this, and I'm sure the citizens in South Kenner, and even many of the citizens who have more empathy and more historic value to it than I do, will be able to appreciate. So thank you. So motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilman Carroll to approve. Council members, please vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
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 LLC for the installation of surcharge fill at Fire Station 38 site in accordance with seal bid number 21-6599 and an amount not to exceed $294,793 for the Department of Public Works. Mr. Chairman, we have someone here to speak after your motion.
Motion by Councilman Wilmot, second by Councilman Carroll to approve. Name and address, sir.
Louis Michael Badalamenti, 133 Jarrell Drive, Suite C, Belle Chase, Louisiana, 70037. May I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, council members, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, audience, and administrative staff. I am the owner of LMB Services LLC, a licensed general contractor. We specialize in heavy and civil construction projects. Been in business, this is our 33rd year, and proud to say, not a single accident, lost time on the job for any of our workers. We submitted a bid on the project entitled Installation of Surcharge for Fire Station 38 site. Now, the reason I'm here is same reason I've been listening to you all tonight throughout your spirited debates about fairness, equality, and following the law. In this case, the low bidder, E.C. Durr, submitted a bid, but they didn't follow the law. They failed to submit a mandatory document called for in instructions to bidders, parts B10-01. And I'd like to take a moment and read that verbatim. It's very short.
You have 2 minutes, sir, so just
Yes, sir.
factor that in.
B10 reads, subcontractors within 7 days after bids are open, the apparent low bidder and any other bidder so requested shall submit a list of all subcontractors. Not might, not may, but shall. It goes on to say the same requirement for suppliers, supplies, and equipment and materials. Verbatim, out of the bid specifications. According to the Louisiana State Bid Law, RS 382212, once a requirement is stated in the published bid specifications, it must be adhered to. It becomes a mandatory requirement and cannot be considered informality or waived by any public entity. We're here tonight seeking fairness and equality. We just want to operate on a fair and level playing field. The other company didn't comply with the mandatory requirements. I have a copy of that letter here. I emailed a copy to everyone in the wee hours of the morning preparing for the night. You'll see the letter from Durham, and it says they do not intend to use any subcontractors, but it does not fulfill the requirement for the supplies, suppliers, and equipment that is mandated in Kenner's own instructions to bidders. That's all we want. We want a fair opportunity. We've entrusted you guys to come over here and bid this work, which I worked for you all before. It's been years. I put all the surcharge in for Vintage Drive years ago with Digital Engineering, same engineers as this company. We just want a level and fair playing field. Myself, and I also speak for the voices of all the subcontractors, the independent owner truck drivers that haul the sand, the bulldozer operators that spread the sand, the flaggers that flag the traffic. We just want a fair shake and to follow the law. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if anyone would like me to do so.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the administration who would like to? Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you. It's the city attorney's office position that the council can move forward on this item 15E to award this contract to Durr Heavy Construction. We have corresponded with Mr. Baldamenti as well as his attorney, and we also issued you all a detailed letter explaining, the issue. I think that went out to you all last week. I do not have a copy of it here with me tonight, but it's our position that you can move forward to award this contract to Durr.
Any more comments from the council or administration? Sir, I'll give you 1 minute to close.
Thank you, Councilman Carroll. Yes, we did receive correspondence, and we disagree with it, and we confer with our legal counsel, and we certainly have the right to file a mandamus and an injunction and stop the job. We've got no interest in litigating with the city of Kenner. We think the council's going to make the right choice and get it right. It's a simple choice. The letter from Durham and the letter from the attorney's office, city Kenner, parrots the letter from Durham. It's specific for subcontractors. Makes no mention about supplies or principal materials as called for in your own bid specifications. The public bid law is not only to protect the contractors and maintain a level playing field, but also to protect your constituents from abuse, wasteful spending, backdoor deals, and by no way am I implying that's going on in this case, but that's why the law is in place. And we just want you to follow the law. That's all we ask.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Baldamenti's recourse would be to file a mandamus against the city of Kenner and litigate this issue. It's our position that this bid is properly being awarded to Durr. So I would advise you all that it is legal to proceed with this contract.
Yeah, so sir, the attorney has said that you have the right to file something legally, and if that is your position, then by all means do that. And we're going to take, well, I am going to take the advice of the attorney, and then as we proceed further and as you proceed, we will be able to adjust accordingly. Thank you, sir.
I can tell you right now, we're not going to litigate the city of Kenner, but unfortunately, we won't be able to bid any more of your projects.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Yes, sir, you too. So, any other comments? I don't see any. Motion by Councilman Wilmot, second by Councilman Carroll to approve. Council members, please vote.
Yes.
Yay.
Carroll.
Yay.
Segura.
Yay.
Hayes.
Yay.
Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 12,845, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Signal Equipment Company South to supply traffic signal parts in accordance with seal bid number 21-6600 and an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works/Field Services.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilmember Hayes to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? Motion passes 7-0. Item 15G, the summary ordinance number 12,846, an ordinance ratifying the emergency purchase of 8 LifePak 1000 automated external defibrillators from Stryker Medical in the amount of $19,542.24 for the City of Kenner Fire Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Brennan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKinney?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 12,847. An ordinance authorizing the purchase of ballistic body armor and accessories to outfit newly hired officers and replace expired body armor from Baton Rouge Police Supplies and Barney's Incorporated, utilizing state contract number 4400020594, and an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilwoman McKinney, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKinney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 12,848, an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 4400016150 to purchase various types of ammunition from Precision Delta Corporation on an as-needed basis not to exceed $35,000 annually for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Carroll to approve.
Mr. Chairman, the chief would like to speak to the council on this matter.
Yes, sir, Chief, you have the floor.
I just want to clarify what this is. It's similar to an ordinance that was passed a few months ago, the same amount. That vendor is unable to fulfill the order within, it's over 12 months now. So this vendor here can do it. Actually, it's sitting waiting for approval tonight. So it's just, we won't use the other. It's the same amount. We just won't use the ordinance that was passed a few meetings ago. We'll just order from this company that can fulfill the order. So it's not adding any monies to or spending any more money. It's the same exact amount in the same exact order, just from another vendor.
Any questions from anybody? If not, motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilman Carroll to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKinney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 12,849, an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the 3 air conditioning units for the treatment plant, effluent pump station, motor control center by Beacon Air Conditioning in the amount of $33,485 for the Department of Wastewater.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Segura to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKinney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 12,850, an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the treatment plant digesters motor control center by Control Systems Incorporated in the amount of $147,205 for the Department of Wastewater.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Brennan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKenney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15L is summary ordinance number 12,851. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Covington Sales and Service Incorporated for the lease purchase of a truck-mounted jet rodder in accordance with seal bid number 21-6597 in the amount of $154,500 for the Department of Wastewater.
Motion by Councilwoman McKinney, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brennan? Yes. McKenney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes? Yay. Brannigan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15M is summary ordinance number 12,852. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from G&M Electric Company Incorporated for the purchase of a 20 HP replacement motor for wastewater treatment plant south blower number 2 in accordance with letter bid number 21-1971 in an amount not of $8,940 for the Department of Wastewater.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilmember Segura to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKenney?
Yes.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Item 15N is summary ordinance number 12,853. An ordinance ratifying the emergency cleaning of the treatment plant aeration basins and digesters by TEH Enterprises LLC in the amount of $662,400 for the Department of Wastewater.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilmember Brannigan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKenney?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15O is summary ordinance number 12,854, an ordinance approving the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana policy and rates for health insurance coverage for the City of Kenner employees, retirees, dependents for the fiscal year July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, as set forth in their proposals.
Motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilwoman McKinney to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Segura?
Yay.
Hayes?
Yay.
Brannigan?
Yes.
Brennan? McKenney?
Yay.
Wilmot?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance authorizing the use of existing state contract number 4400013451 with the Hahn Company to purchase office furniture and other related items through GBP Direct for all city departments. Item 16B is an ordinance accepting the lowest acceptable Louisiana LAMAS contract received from Siddons Martin Emergency Group LLC for the lease purchase of two 2000 GPM Pierce fire pumpers in accordance with Louisiana contract number 4400017741. Item 16C is an ordinance authorizing the lease purchase agreement with PNC Equipment Finance LLC for two 2000 GPM Pierce Saber fire pumpers for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16D is an ordinance approving an agreement with All Star Electric Incorporated for emergency traffic signal system repairs in accordance with RFP number 21-6589 and an amount not to exceed $75,000 per year. Item 16E is an ordinance authorizing a public hearing and approving the proposed fiscal year 2021 annual action plan of the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program and the Home Investment Partnership Home Program grant for the Community Development Department. Item 16F is an ordinance ratifying the proposal for casualty package insurance for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Item 16G is an ordinance ratifying the proposal for excess workers' compensation insurance for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you. Earlier, I was hoping to say special prayer for my mother-in-law. She fell and broke her hip yesterday, so the surgery is set for tomorrow morning, so please keep her in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. I also I wasn't able to attend the memorial services in the city of Kenner, but I'm sure it was fantastic anyway. I always like to attend that to be able to show my support and respect for the many men and women that gave the ultimate. So I want to ask us to obviously keep them in our prayers. And I also would like to ask prayers and remembrance and support of individuals who are still alive. And their names, there's 3 of them, 2 females and 1 male. Miss Leslie Benningfield Randall, Miss Viola Fletcher, and Mr. Hughes Van Ellis, a World War II veterans. And what is so special about these individuals? They are the remaining survivors from the 1921 massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is fitting to say that I pray to God that no one in the United States ever have to go through what these individuals endured, burning and shooting and killing in the United States. And for them to still be alive, one is 100, one is 107, and one is 106. It goes to show you the things they've seen. Myself, I am appreciative for all the things they've gone through, just as much as I'm appreciative of all the men and women that gave their lives for our country. So I ask for your prayers for them, for their descendants, and everyone else that associated with that horrible day. Thank you.
Business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Teff, you're up, sir. Name and address.
Greg Tapp, lived in 5th District. It's been a long night, guys. I don't mind telling you. But I do have a question based on what was brought up earlier tonight. It has something to do with the legal advisor for the council. There's a couple questions. If someone at some point can give me answers to, I would appreciate it, because I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there that would also like to know what your intentions really are with this. One of my questions is, we already have city attorneys that do represent the council, and I don't understand, or what is the purpose, and what would be the responsibilities of what this advisor would do. And the next question is, who will supervise this advisor? There's accountability that's going to be due here, because we have to justify what we're paying for. So I'd like to know who's going to supervise them, who is going to monitor their performance. The other question is, y'all, as I understand it, the council are part-time. Y'all don't work 8 hours a day as a council member. So is this individual going to be by themselves, supervising themselves, or are the assistants that each of you have going to be supervising them while y'all are not at the office? The other thing is that since we have 2 city attorneys, are y'all planning on eliminating one of them? Because I don't understand why we would need to add another city attorney when you got 2 very capable individuals. It just doesn't make sense to me. So if you would, at some point, I'd like to have y'all's answer on it, because you're adding, to me, this looks like you're wanting to add a position, which means we're going to have another salary, another benefits, et cetera, et cetera. And since they're advising the council, the administration probably will have no input. So since it's for the council, do y'all have a separate budget that will also pay for it? Anyway, that is really all I have to say on this. And if you can furnish me with those answers, I would appreciate it. If you don't furnish me with the answers, trust me, there'll be enough people out there to question why y'all would not provide that information.
Thank you, Mr. Teff.
Thank you.
I will take a stab at it, Mr. Teff, to say that normally I'm the person asking the mayor and Ms. Foshee about those questions about why you need this position and why you don't need it. I personally believe, as being the senior person on the council, there are a number of issues, there are a number of information, there are a number of things that I believe, to be able to have someone with the capacity to help us with local, with parish, with state, with federal, to get information, to communicate, to network with different people, to get us a better position for not only for the council, but the city of Kenner. So I believe it based on what I believe that position is important, just like the mayor believes the positions that he put in place are important. So I believe it for that. You asked a number of questions, but I think the bigger one was as far as who's going to be that person's supervisor.
Well, who's going to monitor performance and productivity? Right.
I guess all of us as a council, but I would imagine, again, as we put this together, the council president at the time will be the point person to ensure that he or she are doing the things that we are asking, that he or she are following the protocol of the city, that he or she are not doing anything illegal as it relates to things in the city. That would be my personal opinion going forward as we start to write the job description and things that we do for that. What was your third question?
Well, you have two capable attorneys.
Yes.
That furnish you with all the information you need. And they're here to protect you because you work for the city just like the administration works for the city. So I gather what you're saying, and please correct me, you don't trust the city attorneys to give you the right information? Is that what you're kind of implying here?
No, I am not implying that. I cannot speak for anyone else. They will speak for themselves, but that is as farthest from the truth as the time it took for you to say that. It's almost like I don't want to answer that. But obviously, I have worked with the city attorneys for a number of years. To imply that we don't trust them, I think is not fair to us. It doesn't matter if we trust them or not. There are different departments with different number of people that have employees, more than one, for a reason, to be able to support and make it better. So it's not that we don't trust them. That never came into my thoughts. It is an additional person to look at things from a different perspective that will give us different perspectives. That part is true. It's obvious to have that. So to answer your question, that is not the case.
But you're also dealing with a charter. You're also dealing with what's already out there that the city must follow, the guidelines. And then you have the state laws, which is what your city attorneys already are familiar with. They're familiar with the state. They're familiar with your charter. They're familiar with what the city is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, Mr. Teff, obviously we're not going to agree. I appreciate your
I'm trying to understand why you're wanting to add a position.
I thought I just gave you my answer.
What you just gave me, I want to tell you what you just gave me.
Well, you have one
You
more
don't
minute,
trust
Mr.
your
Teff.
own attorneys.
One more minute, and I'm going to let someone else talk.
Sir, I'm done.
I gave my opinion. You disagree with it, and you are entitled to that. But that is my opinion, and that is my opinion about what we feel. I'll let other people speak, but we may agree to disagree on this. But I am saying,
But again,
just
you already have the sources that you just explained that you need already available to you.
But like I said, there are other positions that I somewhat feel the same way too, but they are still there. We just disagree about that. And there are additional reasons why one person may agree. So that is where we disagree, Mr. Teff. Anybody else want to?
Councilman McKinney, and then Councilman Brannigan has his hand up as well.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Council President. And I think I can answer some of those questions. So I don't want to be remiss in saying that we don't want this person, this is not an attorney, this is not a person, not only, this is a person who we want to have budget expertise. The attorneys do not have, all of the attorneys are not budget experts. The ability to read and that is has some legal expert, but we basically want Liz and Lee smushed into one person, into a position as our resource. So we can't have both of them smushed into one person. So they have other obligations. They do other things within the city. In this budget process, we've realized, and I know in the past they've had discussions about other councils, not our council, about having their own legal representation. This is not what we want. This is our goal is to get a person that is solely our resource, so we can, if we have a question at 10 o'clock at night, we can get that question. They have budget analysis, they have budget analyst knowledge, government analysis, and legal knowledge all smushed into one. That is why, to me, it is a different position than any of the assistant attorneys in the legal department, because they don't have that same breadth of knowledge as well. So to me, it's a different position. We'll be all the supervisors for it, and it will fall in the council budget. In the past, Jefferson Parish has a position that does the same thing for the council as well, and we already had a position similar in the past that's been funded but was never filled. So if you have any other questions, we'll be happy to answer them individually. But
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you. And Councilwoman McKinney, I know you spent a considerable amount of time on this past budget, the one we just heard today. And if you had one of these budget analysis legal persons, wouldn't it have helped during that process?
yes.
And I believe, George, I presume you would say the same thing.
Yes, I would.
So that's the reason. It takes a ton of time, and I know, and my hat's off to both of them. The amendment that was heard today was very, very difficult, I'm sure, on them. And I know that you can look at their binders. I mean, they have so much more information, and they worked so hard and diligently to get it done. And I know the administration worked right along with them. So, and it's all last minute push. And all that stuff comes up fast. And you gotta have, we need all the help we can get when it comes, especially to budgets. So that's what I see. Thank you.
Well, I agree, budgets are difficult, because working in the business, but on the other hand, if I have...
1 minute, Mr. Tiff.
What's that? Okay, if I have a person that is in charge of the accounting department, that individual, when I was in business, was responsible for convincing me that what they did and what they are presenting is absolutely correct. Again, they have to present it to me and actually convince me or sell me that what they've got is right. And me running my business knows what I need to run the business. I just need to have someone that puts the numbers together. So I don't know if what you're saying is that you can't get that from your present finance department, because if that's the case, you got another problem.
30 seconds, Mr. Tiff.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Councilman Brannigan?
Well, I just want to say that this person will be kept very busy with these 7 people up here. And it is a person that we need to help us in the decisions that we make from their expertise.
I hope you're right, because it sounds to me like what we're doing is we're going to be spending some money when we should already have that resource. And as a taxpayer, I would find it very hard that we don't have, or the mayor does not have, because he's the mayor's responsible regardless, someone that can actually do the job, explain it so that everybody understands it, because you're dealing with the people out there. You're dealing with people like me that, and telling me that while you're approving this budget, and you're telling me that what you got right now isn't working for you. That's kind of what I'm hearing, is that what we have now doesn't work, which is a shame, because that means the budget y'all just approved ain't worth a crap, because it doesn't serve us.
Thank you, Mr. Tiff.
Thank you.
Ms. Stacy, are you still here, or? There you go. All right, name and address, Ms. Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy Alessandro, 3309 Chateau Boulevard. To address Mr. Teff's comments, I'm a businesswoman, and I'm looking at that decision that y'all made to hire that person through a business lens. To me, it's all about checks and balances. I know a lot of us good government advocates have been pushing for you guys to have your own advisors. In fact, I personally think you need your own attorney. I think our current legal department has some rock stars in it, which is sitting right here in front of us in an orange jacket. But in the past, recently, y'all have been allowed to be sued personally because you weren't defended properly, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm all for this position. I'm glad y'all are doing it. Please go forward with it. Secondly, I want to address Councilman Brannigan. I want to make sure that my remarks, I'd just like to clarify my remarks. I think you're an outstanding councilman. Everybody that I talk to in District 4 says that you're the most open and accessible council person that we've ever had in our district. You ride around, you make sure, you almost treat it like we're your children. When something happens, you make sure we're okay. My remarks are meant to call out, I just don't like the behavior of you constantly being leaned on, and I think that it's kind of a little difficult when you have the top official in the entire city constantly singling you out and leaning on you. I don't like that behavior, but it's nothing against you. You're doing an amazing job, and I know you want to try to get this track open, so thank you for everything. I just wanted to clarify that. So basically, I don't know if some of you guys are wondering why I'm always up here, but one of the reasons I just want to let the public know is I'm a member, a board member of Citizens for a Better Kenner, a good government advocate group, and a lot of times people want to come up here and say something. Can you please let me know, Council President, when I have 30 seconds left, because I have something to say, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. A lot of times people want to come up here and say things, but they can't. They're afraid they're going to lose their jobs. There's many reasons why people can't. So they come to us, and here I am. So if you wonder why I'm always up here speaking, it's because I'm here on behalf of people who can't speak for themselves. And so, and as evidenced by my phone blowing up after, some things that were said here. Anyway, that leads me to my last comment of what I really want to talk about as a good government advocate. I'm very, very, very upset about the fire station issue, about the conditions, as you guys know, as I said earlier, about the conditions the firemen are living in. So what I'd like to ask you guys is to consider forming a task force. The council has the ability to do this with the stroke of a pen, to study the issue. It's been going on since Katrina, which was almost 16 years ago. Let us study the issue. It can be all volunteer. I will volunteer to chair the task force if you need somebody. If you don't want me on it, that's fine.
30 seconds, Ms. Stacy.
Thank you. Let's create a task force. Let's have the volunteers go to each center, each fire station. Let us assess what's happening. Let us talk to the firemen. Let us come back to you with a full report of each station, and then let us find out what the solution is going to be. Let us track the progress, and let us come back to you guys and keep y'all on top of this. I mean, it's time for somebody to do something. So I'm just asking y'all, can we maybe consider creating a task force for this very important issue? Thank you.
Councilman Brannigan?
Stacy, we have a lot of people that pull on us, okay? And I feel it's better to work with the administration, and I believe that you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, okay? I try to take a common sense approach to everything I do for this city. And I don't want you to think that the mayor or Ms. Foshee or any of these directors pull on me and influence me, okay? I listen to what they have to say, and then I look at the situation and decide what is the best solution for that situation. And that's the way I do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Al, name and address.
Al Morella, 4260 East Florida Drive, 5th District, 49 years. China virus numbers as of yesterday. Total tests done, 7,434,921. Positive cases, 398,959. Negative cases, 7,035,962. Recoveries, 471,663. Next topic. Before I make these comments, I want to say these are my comments, my topic, and my topic and comments alone. And I'm not speaking on behalf of Councilman Segura neither. Just before Christmas, someone took an old photo of Councilman Segura off of social media and doctored it up. Had a discussion.
Mr. Al, I really would appreciate it if you don't talk specifically about stuff that's been on social media or whatever. I really would ask you not, because I don't want to keep interrupting you if I think that you're saying something, you know, and when you use names as opposed to just using situations.
No, Councilman, I'm not talking on behalf of Councilman Segura. This is me talking about an incident that happened because this was put in my mailbox
Okay.
by an anonymous individual and remained totally anonymous.
If you cannot use names of individuals, I would appreciate that.
What name? The only name I use is the Councilman.
From this point going forward, not to use anybody's name if you're going to speak on this. Can you do that?
No, I said I'm not speaking on behalf of Councilman Segura, but this is something that happened concerning me.
Okay, so you've said Councilman Segura, so you don't have to mention his name anymore or anybody else's name.
Well, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. We got that.
Whoever did this depicted him and his son in a negative light. And once again, it was a cowardly act, and I'm speaking out against it because I find acts like this despicable and cowardly. Okay? Now, next topic. Tomorrow marks 79 years since the Battle of the Midway had begun on June 4th, 1942. The decisive victory for the United States Navy, which decided the outcome of the war in the Pacific. 4 Japanese aircraft carriers were destroyed. Once again, we was outnumbered, but we won that battle, and it decided the outcome of the war in the Pacific. Now, anybody got any comments, any questions for me? Oh, one more thing. I'm going to direct this to you also, Councilman Segura. We had a discussion in here a few months back concerning the exhibits in Veterans Park. And you said you was going to look into it. You said you was going to see what you could do as far as getting those exhibits and painted and striped and put on them. And I'd like to get an update as to what's happened so far, as to what's going on so far with that. Anybody got any comments, any questions?
No, sir.
Councilman Brown, going to mention your name. You're laughing over there. You got any comments?
No, man.
All
I'm
right.
just glad you come here and take care of business every council meeting.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Al.
Wait, I'm waiting for his comments.
Oh, well, do you have any comments, Councilman
Well, I'll be
Segura?
happy as soon as he's finished, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you, okay, Mr. Al, Councilman Segura, you have the floor.
Well, yeah, we have an outstanding purchase order from a company that has removed the decals off of the 2 jets so that we can have the jets painted, and then they will replace the decals back once we get it painted. The holdup was, unfortunately, during COVID, I couldn't get anybody to come out and do the painting, so we lost a year. Now that companies are coming back, we're reaching out, trying to still find a company that will agree to come out and do the painting for us. So, yeah, I want to get it finished as fast as I can do, but with recreation's help, general services help. We're trying to find a company. So if anybody in the world wants to come up and talk about painting it, we'd be happy to listen, because we need help in getting that done. And then as soon as we get them painted, then all fresh new decals will be back on it. As I mentioned at the Memorial Day services, within the next hopeful 30 days, you're going to see a new exhibit. We have a World War II Willis Jeep that we purchased. It just came out of the body shop. We're going to get some decals made and put on it, but I'm waiting now for the slab to be poured, the fencing and the lighting and a cover to be all designed to put the Jeep underneath to help protect it from the weather. So that's the next exhibit going in Veterans Park to help pay tribute to our veterans for all they've done in all of our conflicts.
I got any time, Councilman?
I'll give you a minute, Mr. Al.
Okay. What about the funding? Do we have funding in place for that, Councilman Segura, to get that done?
To which one?
For the exhibits in Veterans Park. We have funding in place to get that done?
The Jeep and the trailer that we bought, that's already been purchased. That was purchased with donated money to the Naval Commission. The painting was also used, the money from the Naval Commission donation that came from a wonderful family here in Kenner that has given us money both to the Naval Commission and the city's food bank every year. So we will recognize them once we get past this. The money for the decal removal replacement is also been funded. The price of the painting, I don't have that yet, like I said, but as soon as I do, it will be funded some fashion, whether the Naval Commission or out of my district funds.
Thank you, Councilman Segura. I sincerely appreciate that, as well as the people who made the donations to make this happen. Thank you very much. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Councilman Carroll, you got something you want to say to me?
I'm good right now, Mr. Al.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, man.
Thank you, Mr. Al. I do not see, well, there's a, was that the gentleman Bellamente?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, well, he spoke earlier, so unless there's any more one to speak, we have a motion on the floor to adjourn. Second by Councilwoman McKinney.